Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
It is Super Friday! Woo! Does anybody know what Super Friday means?
Well,
No.
it's a weird Friday because then we have Monday we worked and Tuesday we're off, so super califragilisticexpialidocious.
Super Friday. So normally a Friday feels great because you get 2 days to sort of decompress. But in this case, most people will have 4 days to decompress.
Not us, though.
Because show's going on Monday and Tuesday?
Just Monday.
Just Monday. No show on the 4th.
No show
Smart
4th.
move. Why do a show on the 4th?
Yeah.
People are out doing things, having fun. In fact, Monday, to be perfectly honest, it's looked at as a holiday and a vacation at most places anyhow, because I know our Channel 3 offices here will have single-digit employees in the building.
But we will be here.
I mean, it's going to be
We
sparse
will be
out
here
there.
for the people out there. We're putting on a show Monday. Don't worry.
Good.
So
well,
we'll be
that's a win for the viewer. But yeah, so it's supposed to be good weather, with the exception of like some intermittent stuff tomorrow and Sunday. But then Monday and Tuesday clear out, look to be very good. Summer pattern weather, 80 degrees, hot, humid, swimming weather,
Finally.
beach weather.
Finally.
Yes.
Y'all go swim in that ocean?
I was supposed to go to Edgewater tonight, but it's still a little too hazy. So I'm waiting.
Really?
I've got some asthma issues, and a lot of my friends do too. So
okay.
we hold off.
You got the asthma gang?
Basically.
Some of my friends do too. Okay, well.
You see us all pushing our glasses up, like, "Hi guys, we can't.
Where's
we
your
can't
inhaler?"
go play today."
Well, listen, be safe for sure. 2 days ago, it was some of the most dangerous air quality levels
disgusting.
in the history of Cleveland.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it was
On
nasty.
Tuesday of this week, Detroit and Cleveland had the worst air conditions of any city in the world,
That's crazy.
including New Delhi
That's
and
crazy.
Beijing and India and China. You know, they're just global warming. What global warming? They're just pumping it into the atmosphere. So when our air quality is worse than anywhere in China or India, it's scary. But it's supposed to be clearing out. My buddies upstairs, Matt and Betsy, tell me weekend it should be gone.
See, it gives me a great time to do a public service announcement for all those people. See, what happens in life is sometimes other people's problems can affect you. So say, for instance, something happens in Canada. It doesn't have to be here, right? It could be warmer in Canada and wildfires can happen, and it's harder to put them out, and we may have water shortages. As you can see, climate change and regulations matter in this world, and you can be affected by something that happens thousands of miles away.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is no matter how much work we do to try to clean up our environment, it's not like we can build walls around our country and keep other people's bad air out.
We all have to work together.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Or none of it works. I mean, you
at
feel
all.
like you're playing tug of war, and the two biggest countries in the world that thumb their nose at that kind of stuff are pulling in one direction. And then most of the developing nations, they got other bigger fish to fry.
Right.
They're not worried about that.
They're trying to worry about food, and you're looking around, and the water is rising in Southeast Asia. Now, I don't want to get all in there, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it affected us in a big way.
Yeah.
And it is newsworthy.
I read a piece yesterday where this is going on in Canada because they don't deforest like we do. Mm-hmm. We have deforestation programs where you go through and you cleanse the death in the forest, which becomes highly flammable during drought situations. Every time there's the end of a drought cycle, when you get into a drought cycle, and they had very little rainfall in Canada, that's why they have 500 different active forest fires throughout the country.
Wow.
And then you go into the United States, and there's none. And the reason for it is we clean out our forests before they die and before they become basically kindling. And Canada hasn't done that as we have, and now everybody's paying the price. Enough of that bull crap. I like today's show because we've got some alternative stuff going on. Savannah Bananas, I'm pretty sure by now everybody's aware of who they are. It's kind of the Harlem Globetrotters version of baseball.
Yeah.
They put on an incredible show. I'm surprised that we got someone from their organization You've seen the clips on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm surprised we got someone from their organization. Zack Frongillo is coming on.
Director of
The game is
Entertainment.
sold out in Akron, from my understanding, and
Both
has
days.
been for months.
Both days.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think it speaks to the organization, even though they're not trying to sell tickets. I love it. They're still doing shows like this to get the word out. I want to pitch for either the Bananas or the other team. I don't care. And I'm going to beg when Zach comes on, I'm going to tell him I need to wear a Bananas uniform for one of the Akron games. Flat out, pause.
Super.
All right, I need to wear a Savannah baseball uniform. So anyhow, if you don't know about the Savannah Bananas, you're going to learn everything you wanted to know but didn't. The night that Deshaun Watson's accuser did her profile interview on HBO Real Sports, later in that episode, they featured the Savannah Bananas.
Oh, talk about buried in the lead. No, they ain't.
They should have led with the Bananas.
They should have led with the Bananas. But then it was like, I'm surprised they put Bananas anywhere on that screen after any of that happened. Like, nah, I'm cool. I'm straight. We gonna push you to next week. You guys available?
We can't talk about bananas on this show. All right, so Zach's going to be here. Also, the reason I said I'm excited is because we've got some alternative angles. He was in last year. He was in studio last year. He's going to join us on a Zoom call this week. But Skip Holtz, who led Birmingham to the USFL championship in its inaugural season last year, is trying to repeat.
Wow.
And he's going to be taking on our boy and the Pittsburgh Maulers. So Boogie Roberts is going to run into Skip Holtz, two friends of the show. Who do we root for?
That is.
My allegiance is always Boogie.
I was going to say, Boogie texted me yesterday, so it's Boogie.
Yeah.
Okay. We can't tell Skip that, though. We can't tell him that the whole staff was rooting against him. Because
We'll keep that for us.
We'll be gracious hosts, and we'll tell him good luck, but we can't say we're pulling for you.
Yeah,
Because we're not, and I don't want to be disingenuous on that.
like, tell them you'll bring them on a boat or something. It's a consolation prize.
I'm sure Skip doesn't need to ride on my boat.
Right. That could have
Skip's a
been
good
another
dude.
one.
Skip actually said he's a frustrated wannabe sports host when he was here last year.
He did. He did.
He said we did the best job in the world last year when he sat in the middle chair, which is over there now.
Yeah, which is
like,
funny, right?
You guys
was
have
like,
to
how'd
come in
you
and
guys
talk
get
about
this?
sports every day, and I got to work and watch film. And Coach, how do y'all get this? So,
Skip's awesome.
He
I
was
worked
fun.
with
Yeah,
his
he was a good
dad,
job.
Lou, for a number of years at ESPN, and I can see that Skip has a lot of very similar traits to Lou. Terrific human beings, both of them. So he's going to be along. We're going to talk about the Guardians, who had first place sole possession for just a minute. Just a little minute.
They pissed me off.
I was so hot yesterday because Jose Ramirez's slide was the single best slide I've ever seen in baseball.
Second best.
Defy me tell me if I'm wrong. What's
Second
the best?
Sid Brady.
No. It's Javi Baez.
When he
A
moved
couple
his
years
hands?
ago.
It was Boss.
when he did
It was
the
Matrix.
flip over,
Yeah, it was.
spin.
It was excellent, but it wasn't on a steal of home against a pitcher who throws 102. Think about what he did.
No,
there was a left-handed batter up. You never try to steal home with a left-handed batter.
Counterpoint. Aroldis Chapman's a big doo-doo head.
Yeah, he is, but he still throws 102. The ball's going to get there quicker than any other pitcher in baseball. And there's a left-handed hitter up. So, like, at least with the righty can shield the catcher. He may not know he's coming.
That's true.
But in this case, Salvador, look at this slide. It's Matrix, guys.
Yeah, and then he was like,
He's like bending like Gumby.
and he's like, no, you don't get me.
Oh, he come up immediately.
Immediately he was like, no.
No. Right
you
here.
don't get- Hey,
Headphones.
listen, right there, go right. Listen, hey, listen, take that to Secaucus.
It further solidified what I've said about Jose Ramirez. I'm not going to say he's an MVP. He's certainly an MVP candidate. He is the biggest bargain in professional sports, period.
Hands down, yeah.
He took a 9-figure discount.
Yeah.
By almost everybody's analysis, he could have made at least $100 and maybe $150 million more to go to Toronto or a number of other suitors.
Yeah.
He stayed here in Cleveland. He is the leader of this team. I would hate to think about where they would be without him. It would be atrocious where they'd be without him.
He's been on fire lately.
I think he's the biggest bargain in pro sports.
Yeah.
He's caught really fire. And, we are where we are. They're tied for first place. They've played like ass. They're tied for first place. So we're going to talk about the Guardians in the second hour of the program. And again, Skip Holtz. Dive in with NBA free agency. And I'm going to say right off the bat, you guys are going to do all the work on this because I'm not into it.
You didn't miss nothing.
What I'm saying is, I am less into this NBA free agency season than any that I can remember in my adult life. Because I don't think we can do anything.
I'll give McNuggets credit. He's been foreshadowing and forecasting in his little room back there with his numbers and calculators.
He's got a board.
I got an abacus.
Yeah, he got an abacus back there. He's been calculating and telling us that the game is changing now. For a while, it seemed like you could go out and get 3, 4, 5, 6 dudes. You got 3, 5 max players plus the mid level plus you amnesty somebody. You're like, dang, how much money did the Golden State Warriors got to get all of these people on the team? Now it's different. I was watching a lot of NBA free agency the eve before, and one of the big comments they talked about was there's a lot of free agents out there that have no market. Kyrie Irving has maybe one team, no market. You take a look at
his tag, at what he wants,
at the amount he wants.
Yeah,
I
mean everybody would love Kyrie Irving,
but not there's no market
with the baggage he brings and the expense that he's going to add to a team's payroll.
No long-term money.
To your point, I want you to explain it further because I know you will understand it better than any of us.
I got it all written down.
The game has changed. The money game in the NBA is different. You no longer are you going to be able to stack superstars on your roster and compete. You can still fit 3 or 4, but you're going to have 8, 10 dudes, just guys.
So the new CBA comes into effect July 1st, and I broke it down, and we'll get into all the Cavs free agents targets in a sec, but I do want to explain to you guys and to the people out there how this new CBA is going to affect team construction, not just here in Cleveland, but around the league. So it goes into effect July 1st. The 4 things you have to know are the new second tax apron rules are a killer. The second tax apron is essentially
that's when you exceed the
second level of the tax. And
yeah, so if you want to go just over the cap, there's a tax. It's punitive. Yep. But if you decide to go over a second line, it's almost illogical.
And we'll get there in one sec. There's also new extension rules for how much a player can get an extension, the value of it, their salary cap smoothing.
Do you want to go into that? I'm confused by that.
Just wait till you see the next couple slides. We got them all. And player award rules and midseason tournament. So to break down the second tax apron, if you spend $1 over the salary cap, $1 to $17.49 million.
Yeah.
So before anything under 17.5.
Yeah.
For every dollar you spend, you pay $4 to the NBA.
In the first
tier. It's still the same thing. That's how it is now.
Which is crazy.
But
guys have done it. Dan Snyder's done it. Dan Gilbert's done it.
It happens. And the Warriors have done this significantly. If you have deep pockets, it's not that big.
Right.
Before this new CBA, that was just the rule. If you spend $1 over the cap, you pay $4 to the NBA. So a $20 million contract really cost the owner $100 million because it was $20 million to the player, $80 million to the league.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So a $20 million contract
though, it
was
cost
$100
$80 million.
An extra $80 million was a $20 contract. That's why the Clippers are not re-signing Eric Gordon, who had a $21 million contract. It saves the owner $110 million in totality. But that was the only.
I love that too, by the way. Does anybody not?
Yeah.
I think it's going to bring about competitive balance in the association that we haven't seen.
So there are upsides and downsides to
it.
And before this new CBA, so as of today, that is still the only penalty of the luxury tax. Now, if you go over the second tax apron starting tomorrow on July 1st, which is $17.5 million and over, there are a number of significantly handicapped rules that you have to abide by. And if you take the graphic, Anthony, first off, you can't use a mid-level exception to sign a player.
Oh, you lose that.
You lose the ability to use your mid-level exception, which is how a lot of teams like the Cavs,
that's a big tool.
Celtics, it is essentially the number one thing that teams that are slightly over the cap can use to sign players. When you trade money, or when you trade players, right now you could trade, and the salaries could be within 30% of each other. So if I'm trading you a $10 million player, you could give me a $7 million player back, and it works. Now the team over the cap can't take on more salary. They have to give away more salary they can take back.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
when a trade for a superstar, if you're over the salary, you're giving back not just pieces, you're giving back the whole and then some to be able to get it back.
I love that too.
I
think that's
can't trade
great.
first-round picks 7 years out, so no more Kevin Durant. We're going to trade you our 2031 first-round pick.
Right.
Only 5 years out, so it limits the amount of first-round picks you can trade.
Yeah, because I thought it was absurd. Teams are giving away picks 7, 8 years down the road. Come on.
Yep. You also can't buy second-round picks anymore, which is how a lot of these teams filled out the roster with second-round picks.
Is that the can't trade cash in a deal?
Can't trade cash in a deal. You can't just buy a second-round pick. You have to give a player for something. You can't just buy a pick. And this one might be the most significant. You can't sign buyout guys. How many teams have won championships that in the middle of the season,
Yes,
a
it happens
veteran gets
frequently.
bought out, joins a team, and then they're never like a big star, but they're contributors.
They're a piece.
And you
maybe
cannot-
the piece they need.
So, and sometimes it has been.
I
in
mean,
the
it
past.
almost worked for Miami with Kevin Love, right?
Exactly. Now, Miami, who's not over the $17.5 million second apron, but if they were, would not have been able to bring in a guy like Kevin Love. So if you're over
Got
that
it.
second tax
Do we
apron,
know, Mike, what percentage of teams are currently over that? Do we know?
I know the Warriors. Well, the Warriors just got rid of Jordan Poole, so maybe they're actually under it now. No, I don't know off the top of it. It was a couple last year. I remember
Just a few were over
the 17.5 last year. I think it was 6.
How many are over the salary line?
I would probably say half the league.
Half the league.
That's a guess. I don't have the exact
The one
numbers,
piece that's
but-
missing from that, Mike, and I'm surprised they didn't throw it in there, why not make it more punitive financially to where if for every dollar you're over the 17.5, it costs you 8 to the league?
I do think the league wants to give the teams, hey, if your owner's willing to spend all this money,
Yeah.
go ahead. Matt Ishbia of
Well, the
Phoenix,
Suns
they're going to
owner-
be way over the
And
17.5
that's why I
million.
add that piece to it, because he's indicated that I don't care.
To him, money doesn't matter.
I don't
Yeah.
care. Money does not matter. He took his games. That all the league's deals are with cable operators. They're local deals.
He put
He
it
said,
on-
I'm going to put them on free over-the-air TV.
Yep.
Do you know how much money he's leaving on the table by doing that? But it's a smart move. It's going to help his fan base tremendously. And you'll still get revenue share with whatever local affiliate is carrying the local
Yeah.
games.
What-
But he's losing a ton of dough.
Hundreds
So
of
my
millions.
fear is you're going to have that renegade owner, and he seems to be it, who's going to say, I don't care, tax me.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, if you want to go over that, I love all of those little things that are punitive over the $17.5 million, but throw another financial penalty on top of it.
See, this right here, I think the league wants to they don't want to eliminate player movement. Like, they want to make it difficult for players to move, but they don't want to completely eliminate it because guess what? It's free agency today. People are excited and people like seeing players move, especially this new group of people. Now, I will say this.
But do fans like seeing players move?
Yeah. it's-
I think so.
You
Yeah.
do?
I do.
Because for every team that picks up a big free agent, there's an equal-sized fan base that's disappointed that player has moved.
I think
Have you ever heard maybe an older person, grandfather, father say, you watch somebody celebrate and they say, well, guess what? Today is their day in the sun.
Yeah, let them have it.
You'll have your day one day too.
So lose a LeBron here, but
must-
see, for a team like Cleveland, who are we going to pick up?
Well, I think in today's era of social media and TikTok and Twitter and all these highlights, there are more people who are fans of players than teams. I think guys would follow.
You do?
Yeah, I think there's more Trae Young fans than Hawk fans. Like, for example, like
yeah,
Trae Young
it's
has a
kind
cult
of switched
following.
a little bit,
I
like
don't know that I
the
don't know that
following.
I buy that though.
Because here's you can't cultivate them. It kind of goes back to like the NBA as far as when you were in high school, right? You knew who the best players were because they played on St. Ed's or St. Ignatius, and guess what? You can watch them. Now it don't even matter what you do in high school. It's all about your ranking is AAU.
Sure.
Like so you don't get to grow
Or
with
your
the player.
where you slide in on the recruiting.
If you're going to college basketball, that doesn't matter. Like
No.
now the best players is from G League Ignite and all these other. So you can't even really develop that.
But I think with college basketball, what we've seen happen to college basketball, everybody's interest in college basketball has gone down. I have friends that used to follow every dribble of the entire season, and they lived on it. Now they tell me, I hate college basketball.
Yeah.
Can't watch it, won't look at it. And one of the reasons they all say is because the players are transient. They're one and done. The good ones come and they go. And so if it's done that to college basketball by the players just dipping in and dipping out. Now, I know when an NBA player, superstar, changes teams, he's still in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard for a fan base to sink its teeth. Even when Donovan Mitchell's ink was barely dry on this trade deal, and we were already hearing whispers that, well, he wants to go to New York. Like the player movement, I think, pops a pin in the air balloon of the Cavs because we're like, Yeah, I know he's got 3 years left on his contract, but he won't play here 3 years. And we seem to know that.
And that's why, if you have these other rules, it makes it more difficult for those teams with the players to round out a roster. Yeah. If you're the Cavs, you have an opportunity where other people, if you can develop, if you can be somewhat fiscally responsible, and if you can get guys that you draft well, you get them in the system, you propagate them, you get them together, and then you might, in 5 or 6 years, you may have a window.
So kind of like the mid-major, a MAC school who gets a great recruiting class and keeps them all together, and then when they're all seniors, they have a chance to do a little something.
So this is how the new CBA affects the Cavs, and we'll get to free agency in 1 sec, but Jason has said many times, this will not be a tax team till Evan Mobley gets his extension.
Right.
They are not going to enter that threshold of paying $4 for each dollar they spend until they give that
and
extension.
that's by design, he
to Evan Mobley. And that is designed through the front office. That is because they understand Mobley's going to get a max extension. Then you have a max for Mobley, you have a max for Garland. Jared Allen will be coming off.
Do you like that strategy? Because I love it.
Yeah, I think it's smart, especially with the uncertainty of Donovan Mitchell's future here. It doesn't make sense to go all in now when you know you have essentially the core foundation piece of your team still on a rookie deal. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how it plays for them long term is, A, you have to draft and develop smartly. And
they've done that.
This is where Monty Bates comes in. Can you turn a guy who's a project, certainly has upside, certainly has questions, can you turn a guy like that into a player?
Right.
Can you turn, they had 4 second-round picks last year. Will any of those guys ever make an impact at the NBA level?
Give us one, you know?
One of the, if you have a 25% hit rate in the second round, you're the best second-round drafting team in the entire NBA.
Good. Yeah.
Can you find guys on the margins, which the Cavs have a mid-level exception to use this year? They also have like a $2.4 million open slot to use elsewhere, which is going to be a guy who, a fringe guy, but you have to find a fringe guy who can contribute. Yeah. And with the totality of all this,
will you?
You can find an old veteran who just wants to play one more year, who may not be a guy in your playoff rotation, but could contribute in the regular season. But it's going to come down to smarter GMs, smarter team building strategies, and coaches who can take a guy who may have talent, who may not have shown it yet, and develop them into players.
Right.
You know
and
what?
Patience is the key with this, because you're not going to get guys right away who can contribute.
You know what? It just dawned on me. See, the Cavs aren't doing anything nobody else is doing, right? This isn't new under the sun. But the problem with the Cavs is they have a messaging problem, right? The Guardians message their stuff up and down, and they let you know what it is, right? The Guardians will let you know, hey, we're not getting free agents. Hey, we always got to have conversations about trading some of our best players. But the problem with the Cavs is the Cavs are a mid-major team just like the Guardians are. They have the same restraints. They have almost the same amount of the fan base that's a little fickle. If you got a good team, we'll show up, and we'll watch you, right? But we're not going to come up and be there every single game like if you were just come rain, sleet, or snow. That's not going to happen.
Like the Browns fan base.
Browns fans base. Yeah. So the Cavs should be messaging more like the Guardians message. Now, look.
We are who we are.
We are who we are. Donovan Mitchell, we saw an opportunity to get Donovan Mitchell. Guess what? Donovan Mitchell does not come around here an awful lot. Now, we did go out and get him, but we also have to be flexible enough to say once we got him and it's an asset, how do we maximize it? And we can't just lose him for nothing. So you guys might be a little uncomfortable out there, but we're going to talk about moving and trading and doing a lot of stuff because that's what we have to do as a Cavs organization.
Did you guys discuss at length the Windhorse tweet? Like the cryptic.
We did a whole.
What was your takeaway from all of it? Because I reached out to some people, and I'll let you know what I found. But what did you guys decide?
We did a whole
show
live stream, but we did 2 full shows on it. Essentially, we thought, Windy knows what he's doing. We like Windhorse. He's
smart like a
very
fox.
smart. I think that was a foolish way to poke the bear here. I don't think the Cavs have any realistic outlandish moves to make unless you consider trading Jared Allen outlandish, which I don't think so.
Even when you go back to his comments before the Donovan Mitchell trade, do you remember?
Oh, he always knows what's going on.
He said he knew it was fly.
He coyly sat there and became a meme.
Yeah. Point this guy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but something's going on. I feel like this is the same thing in that there are breadcrumbs, And when it happens, he'll be able to lean back and say, I knew I wasn't at liberty to report.
I couldn't do that.
And a lot of guys are in that situation. I'm sure if Jason was here, he would tell you that guys tell him stuff off the record all the time. Now, what's interesting about Windy is he'll actually, and I think it's smart for his brand, I think he'll actually say, I'm sitting on a piece of information right now that is really interesting, and something's going to happen. And he even told us with who. He said the Cavs are doing something.
And you know what? It's like Woj's thing is, I'm going to be the first. But if you market yourself as the dude, I'm really the first dude, but I'm just giving you hints. It's almost, it piques your interest. Like, let me see if I can figure out this trade.
Exactly.
What is
and it certainly
deciphering?
It spurred a lot of conversation.
It did. To bring this back to the Cavs real quick, because I know free agency does start tonight. I mentioned they had that $2 million vet minimum. Here's the exact amount of money they have to spend in free agency. They have a $12.4 million mid-level exception to use. They have a $4.5 biannual, which means they can sign a guy 2-year contract so $2 million a year, essentially 4 or 5, and the vet minimum. They're $37.5 million below the luxury tax. So they have $37 million to spend.
That's nice wiggle room.
That does not include Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert's contract does not include in that.
Why?
That's fake money because they can go over the cap to sign him and it don't count.
They have exclusive bird rights to him.
Okay.
So that LeVert's money does not necessarily factor into the 30.
Well, they're in a good
Well, actually,
spot
I take that back.
then.
I take that back. It doesn't count the cap. That is in the luxury tax.
Yeah,
So
that's what I thought.
So it does count. I take that back.
It's not invisible money.
It does count towards the luxury tax number, but they have $12 million to use on a mid-level exception, $4 million to use on a biannual veteran contract.
Okay.
So 2 guys essentially they could bring in. And I went through the list, and we've talked about potential targets for the Cavs for a while now. I mean, we brought up weeks ago some targets, and I want to go through and get your guys' thoughts. I broke these down into 3 categories. Realistic targets I like, realistic targets I don't like, and please stop asking because they're not coming to Cleveland. So which category do you want to start with?
Do that one. Please stop asking because they're not coming to Cleveland.
There it is.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Kyle Kuzma.
Why?
He's going to get $30 million a year, whether you like it or not.
He's going to get.
Good Lord. Well, then I wouldn't want him at that number. I wouldn't.
That's his market value.
Whether you want him or not, there's
because
not
I
a
know
chance in
his
hell
skill
he's taking
set
$12.4 million.
is invaluable.
Yeah.
But, guys, we couldn't do that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
These are guys that will not be Cavaliers. Stop asking.
Okay, so I thought you were saying guys that we could fit in but wouldn't come to Cleveland. You're saying
it's both
not
for
these
him.
starters.
These are guys
it's not
who
possible.
These are guys who we have seen Cavs might have interest in.
Right.
Well, have interest. G. Bush, do you want to work for free for the next 4 months?
Nah, man, I'm cool.
Yeah.
See, you can report that I reached out to G. Bush. These are guys who will not come to Cleveland.
So this is pie-in-the-sky names.
Yes.
That either by their choosing or by the semantics of the cap can't end up here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2, Chris Middleton.
Okay.
Would be a great fit.
I think he would.
Stylistic. He just turned down a $40 million option in Milwaukee.
Oh my God.
He's not going to take $12 million to come to Cleveland.
He was like the number one. He was the highest paid person in the league for like a second, crazy.
Next up, Draymond Green will not be a Cleveland Cavalier.
Why?
Yeah.
Is it, again, money or just...
He turned down $28 million. I can't imagine he's going to take 12 now to come to Cleveland.
And it is Draymond Green.
Yeah. Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, but let me ask both of you this. Would you want him here?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would too.
in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Without a question, put him on my team.
Yeah.
I'll take about 6 dudes for the Warriors. It don't matter.
Well, we'll get to one another list.
Cleveland Warriors.
And Cam Johnson's the last one. Cam Johnson's going to get an offer sheet, $5 million, 80 to 90, 5 years to 80 to 90 million. Him and Austin Reeves neither financially would be able to fit into the.
Okay, then
Cavs.
what was the next?
So I have
category?
realistic targets I like.
Yeah.
Realistic targets I don't like.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
Give us the don't like and the reasons you don't like him.
All right, first is Kelly Oubre Jr. I know he scored 20 points a game last year. I know he's a decent statistical three-point shooter. Shot 33% last year. I know he's athletic. I know he's talented. I've watched enough Hornets basketball because I love watching the LaMelo Ball play on League Pass to look at guys and see him as a good stats, bad team guy.
Yeah.
I don't think Kelly Oubre fits into the makings of
He's
a
just
good
gathering numbers for a
team.
bad team.
He's not a bad player. I just don't like the fit. With
Those
him
numbers
in
aren't
Cleveland.
transferable to a good team that has
I don't
talent.
think so.
How
personally.
much is he going to demand on the open market?
I think he's in the mid-level exception-ish range.
I got him like $18 million.
Jeez.
Hey, some team might pay him more. So here's the thing with the Cavs too. The Cavs have a mid-level exception to use. A lot of teams have mid-level exceptions to use, and a lot of teams need wings. So all these guys I'm going to list,
I know.
This is not, one team, two teams need them, pick Cleveland over Team X.
Yeah.
It's pick Cleveland over Team X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
E.
It's a tough market.
I just don't love the fit. Second one, Seth Curry, great shooter, would be the best shooter on the team tomorrow. I can't have another small guard who doesn't play defense on this team. They have enough.
Even if they bring that skill set, because that's what we need.
He doesn't play defense and he's a small guard. At some point, you do need some size to defend wings.
Yeah.
And you can't play 3 small guards at once and expect to stop anybody on defense. Christian Wood's an interesting name because he is a stretch 4/5, but Dallas traded legit assets to get him.
Yeah, they're not going to.
They took him for 1 year and said, man, we don't want you back. Go.
They did?
They kicked him to the curb. They traded legit assets to get him, and he's another guy. Really good stats in Houston, did not lead to wins. He did not mesh with Luka, and I don't trust a team with the lack of bigs Dallas has. That's like, yeah, okay, you go. We're okay. I just don't trust that kind of player coming in here.
Okay.
Moving along, I have 2 more. T.J. Warren, another guy, skill set fits. He's played 46 games in 3 years. I need a guy who I can trust.
I thought he was out the league.
Yeah, no, when he plays, he's good. Last year, he was actually really solid for the Nets, but he's played 46 games in 3 years. I don't trust him.
And I think that trend's going to continue. I mean, rarely do suddenly they just play 75 games after that kind of a track record.
And then Josh Richardson, who has bounced around the league, he's been on a couple different teams. He was really good on Miami. He was part of the Jimmy Butler trade.
I remember that.
He was in Philadelphia. I've heard some stories from guys who work in the league. Just doesn't seem like he's fully locked into loving basketball. So I would pass on Josh Richardson as another guy who fits the quote-unquote 3-and-D need for the Cleveland Cavaliers as a guy who would be the right fit.
Okay, so now this next group are guys that you like that we could actually bring in.
That I think are in the realm of realistic.
Okay.
Now, once again, Cleveland will be going up against 5, 6, 7 teams for all these guys.
Yeah.
Because there is a number of teams that need wings, and a lot of teams only have that mid-level exception to use.
Right,
so, we've mentioned a couple of these names before. These aren't new, but I still think Dante DiVincenzo from Golden State is a legitimately realistic possibility. Jason said he also liked if he changed his mind to another guy who's on this list in a sec is his top priority, but he's a guy who 6'5", relatively physical defender, pretty good shooter.
The shooting part of it is the part I like. I think he's a really good shooter.
He's streaky, but he's absolutely a guy you can rely on to make an open three.
He'd be our best three-point shooter.
If you get enough streaky shooters on the same team, you can get consistent.
Yeah.
At least one of them going to be good. Like a bunch of streaky shooters, give me 4 streaky shooters. Hey, one of them's going to be hot that night.
Yeah.
So I like DiVincenzo. He's definitely a mid-level exception guy. He may even be about $10 million, so you don't use that $2 million elsewhere, but definitely fits in the financial range. Same with Malik Beasley and Georges Niang, 2 guys. Beasley with the Lakers this past season was good down the stretch of the regular season, didn't play in the playoffs. Niang's more of a stretch 4, who's a 40% career three-point shooter, which goes underrated. Dude doesn't move fast. His game doesn't look pretty
at all.
But he makes shots, and he's played in some big playoff games. Like time
he
after time,
me of a sloth.
his nickname's the minivan, which I think is pretty good because he kind of moves like a minivan. But he shoots 40%
Look
from
at
the
his
floor.
brother. Him playing against his brother, Strus.
Yeah, and Strus is actually next. And Strus is who Jason Lloyd has said he's moved into as his top target for the Cavs.
Oh, wow.
I don't disagree. Strus is, I think, one of the hardest guys to value. He's never been paid, undrafted guy. He's going to go out there looking for the bag. This dude is an undrafted, looking for his first contract.
Yeah.
His skill set, 3-and-D, playoff experience,
that's
through
what we
the
need.
Heat mantra, through the Heat culture.
Right.
He's going to get paid.
All right.
Will he take a mid-level exception? I think he's probably worth a little more, but Jason mentioned a possible mid-level exception, sign and trade. You throw Jetty Osman's contract in there, you bring back a guy like Max Strus. I think he would be an ideal candidate.
I would be excited about that move.
That would be a legit one.
Yeah.
We mentioned Miles Bridges, restricted free agent. Obviously, he comes with a little bit of baggage.
Yeah, I don't know about him.
Suspended for 10 games, but if the new ownership in Charlotte's willing to say, Miles, we appreciate what you've done for this organization on the court, but we want to start completely fresh. We don't want you here because of the off-the-court issues. You could get him at a relatively cheap price in that mid-level exception range, assuming no one else would take the move, the baggage with them. And he'd be a good fit.
I don't think he fits. I think he'd be, in terms of need and skill set.
Yes, a good fit.
But I don't think with the chemistry of this group that he fits in.
Totally fair. I'm just saying as far as a basketball fit, he does fit.
And you've got to be very careful if you're Kobe. I've heard coaches talk about this a lot. I remember it was an issue in Tampa Bay and when they brought Keyshawn Johnson in. The issue was can one bitter guy
Yeah.
poison the soup? And you got to be really careful about that because I love what they've done with this core group. It's good guys.
Well, he's
Even
he's very good friends with Darius Garland. Those two are tight. They have the same agent, so he would have at least one of his guys in. I don't think it's the most realistic option,
right?
But it certainly
What's
is a
the most
possibility.
realistic to you?
DiVincenzo or Strus. I think those two guys fit the closest to what Cleveland needs to a T.
Right.
Both within the relative financial realm. A sign and trade. If you give up Osman for Strus, you make that trade 100 out of 100 times.
Hell yes.
And
I mean,
I know
without
Cavs fans
even
love
thinking
Jetty
about it.
but you do that 100 out of 100 times.
Yeah.
And even if he gets a little more, let's say he's a mid-level extension plus 15, 16, 17 million, a guy who shoots 40% from three from his career, who's made big shots in the playoffs, who comes from the best organization in basketball and has finals experience, sign me up.
I have to admit, when I watch the Heat in the playoffs, time and time again, I'm like, when I'm watching this guy, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And how do we not know more about him?
He was an undrafted guy, played 2 years in the G League, played a year with the Heat, but barely played, then came up. That's what I meant about
Patience.
earlier. Sometimes, like these second-round picks and undrafted guys especially, there's a reason they're second-round picks. It usually means they're just not ready to play in the NBA today. It doesn't mean they'll never be able to play.
Right.
They just need time to
Everybody
develop.
develops differently.
Yeah, and guys like Strus, who played 4 years of college, or 3 years of college, at DePaul, just needed some time to get acclimated to the system. And he was more of a ball handler at DePaul. They turned him into a three-point shooter.
Wow.
And changing your offensive philosophy of what you do as an offensive basketball player, it's easy to say, just go run off screens. There's a skill to that, and he had to learn that skill.
Yeah,
that's why I keep holding out hope with Mobley.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about how young he is and how much he does have to grow, you know, he could be a guy that at 24, 25 is a complete package player that has inside post moves and a better shooter and, you know, develops his body a little bit more.
It's, you know, I think sometimes people don't realize to become a playmaker like that, you have to have a certain level of creativity. Like, basketball is a free form sport. Like, they don't tell you to take 3 dribbles, turn around, and throw a hook.
See Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, like that's all. That's all.
It's read and react.
It's just like these guys. I came up with this move. You did this. I'm gonna do this. Like, it's easy to tell a pitcher, "Hey, I need you to develop 2 more pitches this offseason." What?
Right. Yeah.
Like, really? Like, I came with 3 pitches. I'm gonna ride this fastball and maybe throw a changeup. But other than that, you got what you got. I think it's a little more difficult to that. And I think the thing you mentioned, Imani Bates, one of the reasons I like people like, oh my gosh, Jason said he's gonna break your heart. I'm like, no, that ain't my job.
Jason's anti-Imani Bates?
Jason's anti-Imani Bates immediately. He's saying that if Imani Bates is ever going to contribute to the Cavs, it'll take a couple of years for him to develop.
Well, listen,
and that's fine.
That's fine.
He's a second-round pick.
Get on developing. Like, get to developing. Like, this is when I say sometimes put pressure on the organization, I don't mean just through trades. I'm talking, there's other ways you put pressure on them. If I'm Kobe Altman, we done got these guys. What is my training staff doing?
Yeah.
Mobley need to gain 20 more pounds. What are you doing, nutrition staff?
Right.
I saw Coach Prime come in and change 96 things in a college. And colleges don't change.
No.
The institutions stay the same.
Yeah.
Coaches, players come. But there's an opportunity here that you got a kid with some talent. He's not like Bridges, because Bridges is, for lack of a better term, he's done. He is who he is. Like, you don't change.
He's a finished product.
Yeah, you don't change character when you're 24, 26.
Yeah, it's harder.
It's harder.
You can, but it's really tough.
You got a younger guy. He's moldable. You can take the fact that, hey, bro, you went from a Sports Illustrated magazine to dang near not even getting drafted.
Right.
Lock
Maybe
in.
that's the wake-up call he needed. Plus,
Yes.
he's surrounded by good character guys. And I think that's why I said on the show last week or Monday, I think this is the best place for him.
Do you know he used your audio in his Welcome to Cleveland video?
Someone told me that, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Real quick, I know we got to get to Anthony's ticket giveaway in a sec, but real quick, other top free agent names. Let's make some predictions on where we think they'll go, just for the sake of prosperity. So when I'm 10 out of 10 on these, we go back and be like,
you're going to get them all?
Well, no, I'm definitely not. And I only have 6.
To me, this is one of the hardest things to do.
It's impossible to predict.
Because each guy has a silent suitor that we don't know about.
And
Mike has to make up for all of his Oakland A bets. Let him go.
Yeah. Well, no, they got perfect gamed 2 days ago, and they lost by 9 yesterday. I'm 2 for 2 in my last 2.
All right, good. Are you still up for the year?
Barely.
No kidding.
That's the
That
way
tells you
love-
how good Vegas is.
There was a
goes.
point where I was 3-13 in a 16 game stretch. They lost like 9 by 1 run. It was absolute bullshit.
Wow.
But okay, I have 6 of these. These are the 6.
6 players that.
And I didn't take Kyrie because I don't think anyone's actually going to pick Kyrie to go anywhere else but Dallas. So these are the 6 other top free agents who I thought had some possible suitors. Russell Westbrook, where do you think he ends up?
Oh wow.
I think he still stays in Clippers.
I do too. I think it seems to make most sense for him.
I'm going to Chicago for the Bulls, and I'll explain why in a sec. Brook Lopez.
Jeez.
I'm picking San Antonio. Think of a better mentor for
No,
Wemby.
no, that's a
rim protector.
And he don't have to play center all the time.
Is
Doesn't
there
have to
any
play center?
smoke around that, or that's your thin air pick?
I mean, I listen to some podcasts and
Okay.
it's been thrown out
'Cause
there,
that
but I
would-
think it makes
great sense for the Spurs.
I think it makes a lot of sense for both sides. They have a lot of cap
But
space to spend.
is he going to want to go to San Antonio?
He already has a ring.
True.
All right, James Harden, who's not a free
wow.
agent, but he just opted in with the Sixers. He's working on a trade.
And didn't they announce yesterday that they are trading him?
They are trading him, yeah.
Yeah,
So he's not a
so-
free agent, but let's throw him in here.
Wow. See, I don't know because there's so many hurdles to a team taking a guy like him on.
So you said Russ to the Clippers?
I thought
Yeah,
Houston
I'm
was going to be in
sending
the mix.
James to the Clippers.
Oh, really?
Sending James to the Clippers.
Wow, wouldn't that be funny?
Yep, I'm sending James to the Clippers.
That could possibly
They're
work.
not re-signing Westbrook. They can shed some salary, bring him on. Their owner
Yeah,
does not
that's
care
how
about
they
the
make that
luxury
work
tax.
financially, right?
Yeah,
Is to
yeah.
shed Westbrook's contract.
And Morris and Zubac.
Yeah,
and
they
a couple
still
other
need
smaller
more.
ones. But their owner doesn't care about the luxury tax. I can't see him going to Houston with all the other young guards they've
what
just
is his
drafted.
legacy when he walks away from the game, provided he doesn't
We
win
have
from
to
here
get
out?
to something shortly, and I could go on a
Oh,
30-minute
yeah. Okay.
diatribe
That's a
on
good
James
topic
Harden.
for down the road, though.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Next up, Bruce Brown. G-Bush, your favorite.
I think he's going to get some money. I think he's going to. I
gonna
think
get money.
He's not going to get no money from. Oh man, that's a tough one. He's not going to Denver. I'm gonna say. Can Dallas get him?
They could finagle some things, but it'd be tough to fit in there.
I wouldn't even have a guess.
I'm going with the Lakers. I know he has said he's a big LeBron fan in the past.
So they're gonna get rid of. They would have to get Reeves.
They're going to keep Reeves.
Beasley's out of here.
Beasley's gone. They didn't.
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt's gone. Mo Bamba, they didn't. They renounced his right, so he's gone. So they got a little bit of flexibility.
Not enough for that, though.
I don't think he's going to get that much money.
You don't?
I think he's 15 million.
He's the hottest name on the market.
I know. I thought he'd get more than 15.
If he does, he's not going to Lakers. I think.
Yeah,
about
that's
15.
why.
Two more. Fred
okay.
Van Vliet.
Ooh.
He's back to Houston, in my opinion. He's going to Houston. They need an actual point guard. They got a bunch of twos.
I think Houston. I was gonna say Philadelphia, but
That could be Philly now without James Harden. Some of these teams have to spend money, by the way. In the new CBA, you have to spend 90%
Yeah, you have to be
of the
up
cap.
to a minimum, right?
Up to 90%. So some of these teams
Yeah.
have to spend money.
By the way, I wish baseball would do that.
Houston has so much money to
It
spend.
would
they're gonna
change
sign a couple
the
of these
landscape of Major League Baseball instantly if they would do that.
the Spurs could be good though. Like if they say they went and got Lopez and got Van Vliet.
Guys. Well, wait till you see the next guy I have going to the Spurs. Grant Williams.
Listen, the Spurs, I think, are going to be good.
The Spurs have to spend $45 million in free agency. So they're going to get two of these guys.
Wow.
They have to spend $45 million. And that's why I think they get Grant Williams going
And
there.
you know what? Their ownership
I like
group,
Grant
who was
Williams.
once lauded as the best in the game, I think they've been incredibly patient. Now, they won the lottery, so that and they won the lottery the year you want to win the lottery, which is, by the way, how they built their first dynasty.
Yep.
But I think they are the perfect example of an organization who lays in the weeds and knows when they can make a move and when they need to just be ordinary.
Mm-hmm.
And Pop has been incredibly patient.
He waited it out.
He waited it out, and if he gets back to the top end of the talent cycle, it's a wrap for him in terms of his legacy and where he fits in with the all-time
Think
greats.
about what he's been sitting on. He's been sitting on some plays and some
Oh
concepts.
my, you know he has.
Well, they set this up perfectly. Now, it was a gamble because if they don't get Wembanyama, you obviously are doing it with a different top whatever pick.
Right. They got the guy in the right year to get him.
In the right year to get him, and also they got rid of a couple contracts this year that they traded for to go off the books this season and next
all
season.
in preparation for going all in now.
All in for this year.
It was brilliant.
Even if it wasn't Wemby, this was a 3-person draft. Really,
Yeah,
Wemby was obviously the top prize. But had they gotten 2 or 3, they still would have got a top-tier prospect to go along
I agree
with,
with
money.
that, but they hit the
jackpot.
lottery.
Oh, my goodness.
They hit the jackpot
So
of all jackpots.
This is from Bobby Marks. These are the 5 teams that need to spend money to reach that 90% threshold.
Are the Spurs the one that need to spend the most?
No, Houston has to spend $50 million.
Oh my
so Houston's going to overpay for 2 of these guys.
Or they could get someone
or
else.
James Harden.
Yeah, right.
Or overpay. San Antonio has to spend $30 million. They could spend more, but up to $30 million
Right.
they have to spend. Sacramento 24.5, Indiana 18.5, and Detroit 15. Wow. That they have to spend to reach that 90%.
I got to tell
threshold
you,
in the
I think the
CBA.
NBA's done a great job with these moves.
Yeah.
I do. Because it made it easier in the past for San Antonio's, Detroit's, Houston's to sit back and try to win the lottery and hit the jackpot. Now they can't do that. Now that there's a floor, which I think should exist in football and baseball too.
Does it not exist in football?
I don't think so. No, I don't
do you
think
know?
so.
I don't think
I know they have a cap,
There's a cap, yeah.
but I don't think there's a floor. and the thing of it is, in baseball, where if there was a 90% floor, if there was a cap in baseball and a 90% floor, you overnight would take a league that has about 8 to 10 teams that legitimately could win. You would take that and double that and probably be close to 20. And I know what they're doing. They're saying we need the New Yorks, LAs, and Chicagos in the playoffs because that's what sets our TV number for the year. Nonsense. If you're going to have years where those New Yorks get in, but I think it's good for the sport if a Pittsburgh slides in there. A Cleveland slides in there. Look at in 2016. You had the number 3 market and you had the number 18 market. You know, Cleveland's a small market.
It grows.
But the ratings were through the roof.
It grows your sport. I used to always love, like, when I would watch these different games, I would watch, like, bowl games. And I used to watch all the bowl games, and I used to look at the different helmets and be like, man, I've never seen that team before.
Right. And that's good.
Right. And then you'd be like, hey, let me go look and, like figure out when Georgia Tech won the national championship in 1990, I'm like, Georgia Tech, Colorado, there's teams out there. What the heck is this?
Yeah, I know.
It
wasn't one of the blue bloods.
Yeah, and so I think it's good. I think for baseball that would definitely work.
I wish they would do that. All right, we've wrapped up our NBA free agent segment. I know you've got to read Anthony, and then we got a guest.
Right before we wrap that up, I did actually go ask the chat, and whenever we ask the chat anything, it's brought to you by PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with great career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio, and all locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, get a full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So I wanted to know what the chat thought if we were going to make a big splash this offseason as the Cavs. And they're kind of with us, guys. They're 71% no. 28% think yes, and I want to know what those 28% think we're going to do. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, it just depends on what you consider, as Wendy said, outlandish, what you consider a big splash. If they could get Max Strus, would you consider that a quote-unquote
yes.
big splash?
For me, that would be a big splash because I know what the limitations are.
Yeah.
And if we can fit him into the limitations that we have, I think that's a win. It's not the needle mover that a lot of people are looking for. It's not, certainly not a top tier talent, but we've got those on the roster. We have specific needs, and we have to go out and find players with the skill set that we lack. And I think he fits all of that. All that being said, I'm just a little skeptical that we can pull that off.
Like I said, there are a lot of teams who are interested in
That
Max
scares
Strus,
me.
a lot of teams that are going to offer him the mid-level exception, and a lot of teams that have the similar type Jetty Osman contracts to trade if it was to be some sort of mid-level exception sign and trade. So the one thing the Cavs can offer is that 3 position is wide open.
It's his, basically.
It is yours.
It's his.
So that is the one. Now other teams have
and it's the last
too.
piece that they need. So if he's a guy that's chasing a ring, and aren't they all? I mean, I would think that would be.
Yeah.
I know that the money is big, but God, I want to win every night. So you would be able to tell him, you are the missing link. We've got everything else that this team needs to contend for a championship. Come win one with us.
Now, what scares me is the teams out there like San Antonio or Houston who
Yes.
literally have to spend this money, and like for example, if Houston was to go, hey, we got to spend 50. Max, we think you're worth 18, but you know what?
We'll give you 21.
We're going to give you 22 because we don't want to deal with it.
And they've got the
money to do that.
Yeah.
And a guy like Strus, who, like we said earlier, is a second-round undrafted guy, has never been paid. I think he's made $1.78 million in his 4 years in the NBA.
And at some
would
point,
take that in a heartbeat, and I wouldn't blame him at all for getting the bag.
And at some point, Houston has to start winning with young players unless they want their young players to be, like, indoctrinated into losing all that time. Like, they definitely have to make something work with that.
All right. Is our guest on yet or no?
We don't have our guest yet, but that's okay because I actually have to do a USFL ticket giveaway.
Let's do it.
Oh, let's
so
go.
Tickets.
If you want to win 4 tickets, I'm going to put it in. Number 3, third person in the chat to type out spelling. That's going to be our winner for today.
And it
for
must
hour
be
1.
correctly spelled.
Yes, and it has to be correctly spelled. I'm saying this time. You got to spell it right because some of you spam and some of you spelled wrong. We're setting it's got to be spelled right.
Yeah.
This is
So
for
third
Anthony, the
person
world's
to
best
say
seller.
spelling, you're going to be the winner of the hour 1 giveaway, and we'll have another giveaway coming in the second hour.
We've given away 32 tickets so far.
And it'll be 36 in a minute.
36 in a minute. We're giving 40
I
away.
mean, we're going to have like a nice little UCSS cheering section there. For
the game better be packed. Like
it's not going to be a sellout.
well, packed and sellout, I guess. Let's say USFL standard packed.
10,000?
If they get 10,000, they're popping
That's
champagne
crazy.
regardless of the winner.
We played St. Ignatius in 1997, and there was 26,000 people
At Tom Benson?
And that was capacity.
That was capacity.
If it was 40, if it held 45, there would have been 45,000
We sold
The game was that big?
We sold.
Mike. It's Texas style, man.
We sold Akron Rubber Bowl out. The Rubber Bowl, the old Rubber Bowl,
Yeah,
not
right.
like the dump Rubber Bowl, like with the huge crown in the middle of the field Rubber Bowl. Like it was back then. It was different. Like it's even different today than it was back then. It's hard to sell out anything now. But back then, when it was like that was the Mecca.
Well, the St. Ed's Ignatius game, I went last year.
Yeah, the only reason I was surprised, I thought that was the big rivalry,
it's just
not
it's
McKinley.
packed. No, well, that's the Canton Akron version of Ed's Ignatius.
Yeah.
And when both teams are at the top of their games, and I'm sure they were the year you guys.
Yeah, Ignatius was undefeated, and we were undefeated. Ignatius was like, we were ranked in the country back then. Mm-hmm. So it was like, them games was like you go to those games and you lose and you're out. But there would just be, the whole city would almost
Now,
shut
another
down.
one is the Maslin Canton McKinley game
That's packed every year.
is another one.
That's packed. They get 20. You're going to
They
get.
just, you know, they
You gonna get 20
whatever the
something.
seat number is that they have available,
yeah,
they're going to sell
they
them
gonna
out.
sell that out. That's every year.
Not
So,
to
but
bring up
see-
bad memories, but that's the thing that's beat y'all. Like, that was when Boogie said they have the score in the weight room.
Yeah.
And y'all haven't beat him in a while.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
heard
we don't like that. I don't like. What's the name of the school? Maslin?
Maslin.
Yeah, I don't like.
But
that.
That's where Chris Spielman went.
Shout
I
out to
like
them. I can show my jewelry. Maslin, they can't show no jewelry.
That's
they can't.
true.
They just hang out.
You know, I wonder if they're expecting a bigger crowd because Pittsburgh, which is probably geographically, I think it undoubtedly is geographically the closest team, the closest city to Canton. Because I have some friends that follow this sort of stuff, and they said, of course Pittsburgh made it to the championship game played in Canton where they need fans.
Right.
And I said, come on,
Right,
man, you're
that's
not
crazy.
alleging
They also have Boogie, so like.
Yeah, Boogie's the secret
I
weapon.
did see, by the way. Let me see if I can find the stat. Boogie had the. Here, give me 1 sec. I'll pull it up.
That's kind of crazy. He made it to the championship, and at the middle of the season, they was trash.
They were like, they at one point like 1-4,
1-4 or 5 or what? He started coming on UCSS.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
It all happened.
You ready for the Boogie numbers?
Yeah.
He ranked 3rd in the USFL in run stops this year, 13. Wow. 3rd in quarterback pressures with 23. And one of only 4 players at the interior defensive line position to earn a 70 PFF grade as both a pass rusher and a run stopper.
He's actually good though.
Shout out to
I
Boogie.
can't.
Like
he's
actually
going to get a call.
He's actually good, bro. Like it's like the USFL has to, and I like their uniforms too, by the way. And I don't like nothing with black and yellow.
I don't
on it.
either, but I like the style of
They're
them.
crisp.
Yeah.
Boogie, if the USFL wants to get to where they need to go, they gotta have poster childs. They gotta, and if you can't market Boogie, I don't know who you gonna market.
I know.
Because this guy, and he's good. And he's doing his thing.
I'd like to see Boogie wear a wire for the championship game that the broadcast has access to.
Like in the XFL. They did
Like
in
the XFL.
Yeah.
To me, that's my favorite feature of the XFL. But here's a guy who has all kinds of personality. He's a top-tier player. Open that mic. Let me hear what goes on in the huddle. Let me hear what goes on in the trenches.
Man, let him interview some people. Like, come on now.
Right.
You see, he got it. He got the it factor. That's all they need to do. All they need to do is just really find one or two guys to really let them hit and they stick. The goal is to be like, listen, if you want to go to the next league, the next level, we got people going to the next level.
Right.
Look at here. Look at this guy right here.
Yeah.
And then you'll get more traction.
And then some guys that come out of the USFL that break into stardom in the NFL. And they can say, because remember when Kurt Warner came from the Arena League.
Yeah,
that
I remember
really highlighted the Arena League because everybody was like, wow, they got that kind of talent playing down there?
I remember. And then the dude from Texas, he played at TCU. Then he was returning kicks last year.
He's from the XFL.
He's from the XFL?
Yeah, from the Cowboys.
That I knew he played.
Robert Turpin.
Robert Turpin, yeah. I remember watching him when he was a young dude, 25 for TCU. He was doing his thing. I'm like, this dude is fast.
So just when I gave credit to the Savannah Bananas for making someone available when they've got two sellouts, is he called in?
Still don't have any. So his original time was noon, and it got moved back to 11:45. I'm hoping he comes on at noon. So if he does, I'll let you guys know. I'll be the first one.
So we just spun our wheels for 15 minutes.
We might
have. We'll talk Guardians in 1 sec. But tonight, speaking of miking guys up, so I went out and mic'd up Bull for his Little League game, I guess last week.
No.
Did you not see it yet?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, it came out really good. I'm going out to mic up Jason tonight for his.
Jason.
So we're going to see if Coach Jason can live up to Coach Bull.
Man.
I can only imagine. And Coach Bull had to be playing to the cameras in the mic, right?
Hey, Steve, could we pull up the Bull package just from a few?
He's looking for it right now.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it.
I have not seen it.
It came out pretty good. I think.
Hey, Mike, real quick.
Yes.
What day was that? Do you know the date? Was that Monday?
No,
because I was here Monday.
It was last.
I thought Bull was going to be in on Friday. He told me he was.
We played shuffleboard the whole week, so everybody's getting shuffled up.
Steve, it was.
Had to be Tuesday.
The 21st.
Oh, so it's a long time ago.
It aired on June 21st.
Last Wednesday?
Yeah, because the game was a Tuesday, so it aired on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know what's so crazy?
This is what happens when a guest doesn't call. He's got to fill. He's got to fill time. That's what it is.
Now, what we really need to do is we need to get Jay mic'd up. And
we are trying. Jay plays Saturday mornings is the one tough thing for me.
Yeah,
no, that's okay. I've had guys in my league. I can't think of his name now. He joins the chat. And he's got one of the really funny names.
Is it Dank Nasty Ass Man?
No, it's not him.
Shout out to him. Where you been at?
No, it's not him. Hell, I can't think of it now. He plays in our league. And he always comments about the
Tequila
show.
Mockingbird?
Yeah.
Yep, Tequila
Mockingbird plays in our league. And I've had some other guys in our league that watch the show that say, bro, you're like one of the best pitchers in the league on the best team in the league, and
we'll get out there.
We haven't seen them featured.
We'll get out there.
That's by design. I don't want them to feature us.
No, we'll get out there.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I can't do this.
It's like the UCSS jinx.
Yeah, oh, come on, bro.
We featured Bulls team. Has Bulls team won this year?
They did. This as you'll see, it's a close game. It's a close game.
What I love,
Steve,
without seeing this piece, I can just about assure you that he coaches with the intensity of a Game 7 World Series.
He is. Okay, listen. Bull,
he's actually
Bull is,
very encouraging.
Yeah, Bull is. I love Bull.
Yes, he's very good
Bull
with
is
kids.
awesome. Bull here in this chair when you're arguing with Bull.
Super intense.
Is the yin and the yang is how Bull is with kids. Bull is phenomenal.
Good.
As
I want
a
to
Little
see
League
this.
coach.
Yeah, I want to see this. We got the package. How long is it?
3 minutes.
Yeah, we have time. Do we have time or no?
Yeah.
Go for it.
This guy's late, so.
Breaking news. Jeff Van Gundy has been let go.
Wow.
ESPN
by
left
ESPN.
20
No, I know
big
that. I know
time
today's the day that 20 of their talent.
What?
Max Kellerman is
pink
also
slips.
gone.
Yeah, Max.
Yeah,
Kellerman.
Max. I knew was dead man walking.
Yeah.
$5 million a year. I like Max, but
Did you find it? Steve, whenever you want to play, Coach
Yeah,
Bull.
let's see. This is Raging
We are
Bull.
3-9 on the season.
3-9.
We're playing much better at the end of the season. The team we're playing is also 3-9, so it's a big game.
1, 2, 3,
SD! But once you're swinging the bat. Yeah, Reef, go! Go, Reef, keep going! Go, 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 go to third, go to third! Go, Reef, go!
Oh, that kid's got wheels, too.
That's one of
Keep
his best
going,
players.
Reef,
That's
go,
gotta be
go,
his best player. Little League home run.
Slide.
Ooh, he was out. Oh, he dropped the ball, didn't he? He dropped the ball. Because he called him out originally.
Awesome, Reef was flying around those bases. It made me nervous. I thought it was close to the plate, though, if he had held on to the ball. Run! Go, go, go!
I don't know
Go!
if Bull's passionate for
That, a
baseball.
2-run single. That's right, buddy. All right.
We explained it to him. That's a
First
single,
pitch,
one
I
base.
want you to go. Even if he catches it. As soon as it reaches home plate, I'll tell you when to go. Go, 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 go. Don't look, don't look, don't look. Good hustle, Aaron. I loved it. We were very aggressive that inning. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Don't lob it in there. Come on, throw it.
Oh, no, he's got to throw.
Step on the base. Yes, yes. Nice play. Let's go. We ready to hit? Are we ready to hit? Yeah! Let's go.
I'd love to play
Yeah,
for
there you
Bull.
go, Ben. Hustle, Ben, hustle. All right, stay there. Swing it all the way. Don't just put the bat here. Swing it all the way. Go.
Oh, good cut. Is that the
Go
same
home,
kid?
Josh. Go
Same
home.
kid. Yeah, I
Don't
can tell
look.
by
Don't
the
look.
swing.
Go. Go, Josh. Go. Go. Don't look. Stop
Come on,
looking.
son.
Next time you're on
Oh,
the
that's the
bases.
most tentative third to home
Wait,
I've ever
you gotta
seen.
stop looking. You looked like 4 times. All right, just run. We'll tell you what to do, okay? But I'm proud of you for swinging the bat. I'm very proud of you. You should be proud of yourself. I want you to help lead the energy in this dugout. You hear me? Hey, Ben. You need to get out of this inning without any more damage. Do the best you can, all right? Throw it hard. Make sure you follow through, okay? Bend that back at the end. Let's go. That's it, Ben. Nice, Ben. Aaron, you're at third. Ted.
He's got nice limbs and extensions. He's
Who almost killed me there? Who almost killed me? Reef, what happened, Reef? I thought we were buddies. Same spot.
Who was he talking to?
Again. This is it. This is the last inning. We're down 2 runs. We get 2, we tie. We get 3, we win. We can walk it off. Come on, let's do it. Everybody, hands in. Hands in. Come on. If you're going to go down swinging. Go. Go,
Same
Everett.
kid, right?
Good game. Good game, good game. Nice pitching, kiddo. I know it stinks to lose, but there's, what are you going to do? Somebody's got to lose. It's a bummer. It pisses me off, too. I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that language, but it bums me out, too.
SD on 3. 1, 2, 3.
SD.
That's
Hey,
every
he's a
bit
good
as good
dude.
as I expected it to be.
Hey,
So we'll get Jason version next week on.
yeah, this is gonna be
Someone
great.
in chat just called them the Bad News Bulls, and I think that's the best team
Bad
name
News Bulls, yeah.
ever.
Oh my
But real quick, guys, before we get on to our Guardian segment, I want to remind everybody that it's the 12 o'clock lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And if you want to see your favorite golf legends play in the Colleague Companies Championship, July 12th through July 16th at the famous Firestone Country Club, fun, family-friendly events all week long, featuring a new fan zone experience, free attendance for kids, and concerts every single night. There's something for everyone. Learn more at colleaguegolf.com. And Jay, I think you're going to be down there for this, right?
I
You and
am.
Mike.
Yeah, I hand out the tournament to the trophy to the winner every year. I'll be there Sunday for the final after the final round, and I'm also going to be there Wednesday at least. I know that I'm trying to swing some other things, but right now I want to be there Wednesday. So, and Paige Sporanic, the big golf media influencer. I'm sure if you got an Instagram account, you're into golf and you're a male, you probably follow Paige Sporanic. She's going to be there. She's playing in the Pro-Am with Matt and Dan Klepper, and I believe Jimenez, which is like going to be the
That's
greatest
the-
golf foursome
yeah,
in the history of Pro-Ams.
That's a squad.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So,
And I think we
we'll do
have-
that Wednesday. Do we have our guest?
We have
do.
our guest.
All right, great. Zach, I hope I get this right. Is it Frongillo? Is that how you say it?
Frongillo. Close enough.
Frongillo. All right, awesome. Okay, so here's how I'm going to start. I'm going to fanboy out for a minute, okay? I've known about you
Okay.
guys since the very beginning. I saw the HBO Real Sports feature on you guys. I think what you're doing is revolutionizing sports because you're making it fun in a different kind of way. It's not necessarily about the outcome. Am I right when I say it's the Harlem Globetrotters meets baseball?
So I would say yes and no. Yes, I would say we get that a lot. I would say we get that all the time. And it's great, and it's an awesome compliment. And the reason being is the Harlem Globetrotters revolutionized basketball when they first began, or when they first became a team. They were selling out Madison Square Garden. The NBA was asking them to come to their games and play before the NBA games just to get butts and seats. But the one thing that they did, or lack thereof, and didn't do, was they never changed. They never became anything new. And their games were always scripted. You know, every single time the Globetrotters would win, besides one game in the Washington Generals history where they won one game on accident, our games are entirely competitive, and I can't script hitting a fastball. As much as I wish I could script hitting a fastball, I just can't. It would make my life a whole heck of a lot easier if I could. But no, our games are incredibly competitive. Both teams are here to win, and they want to win. And then we just add the show on and that side of things to make it a great fan experience as well.
It's so much fun.
Man, that's
it really
crazy.
is.
Zach, how do you guys come up with some of the stunts? Is it something, I know you're the director or creative director for the band. Is it something you work on with the players? Do the players come to you with ideas? Is this all just from your mastermind brain? How do these stunts come from an idea in someone's brain to fruition on the field?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, ideas are everything for us. So there's nobody in our organization from top down that is not allowed to give an idea. We do have what's called our OTT group, which is myself, director of entertainment, our director of marketing, Kara Heater, our marketing coordinator, Savannah Bananas, and then our owner, Jesse Cole, and Yvonne Trezak, our director of creative content. We all come together and we have what are called buckets. And our buckets are, different categories.
Oh, no.
Hold that thought, Zach.
He did text me that he got back to the ballpark and just got internet back, which was why he was running late. So
Okay.
Give it a second. It'll kick back in.
Oh, it will kick back in.
Well,
Hopefully.
they're actually in Indianapolis right now, and they postponed the game last night because there was no
the air.
power downtown.
I thought because of the air quality.
Well, maybe, but I was going through their Twitter this morning, and I believe they had no. Give me 1 second. I don't want to get this
because a lot of games. I know some of the area games outside were canceled because of
there
the
was
air
no
quality.
power in the stadium or in
Wow.
downtown Indy last night.
Interesting. It's okay.
All right,
Zach.
Zach's
Am I back? All right,
Yes.
I'm
You're back.
All right. Yes. So yesterday we actually had to cancel our game. We lost all power in the city of Indianapolis.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Nuts.
So
Was
we
it
had
weather
to-
related?
It was weather related, yep. And then we
Wow.
just got power back a little bit ago, and then we just got our internet back a little bit ago. So we're good to go for tonight, which is good. Obviously, we're still working out some of the kinks, but anyway, back to the ideas. We have what are called buckets, and the buckets are anything from lip syncing or using props, and then we come with just a bunch of ideas, and those ideas are over the top ideas, which is where OTT comes from. And we just create these moments that are super unique and special. And then from there, it comes to my side of things and how do we execute it. And then that goes to Yvonne, who's our director of creative content. How are we going to capture this? And then that goes to our director of marketing on how are we going to share this with our fans? Which fan base should this go to? Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter are all very different people that are following us. So which market is going to enjoy this content the best? And that's how we kind of create these ideas and keep our ideas flowing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
How do you guys recruit players? Like, I mean, do you obviously have to be able to bat, you have to be able to throw the ball, you have to be able to catch, you have to be able to do those things, but obviously it would help if you know how to dance, sing, rap, look decent, dance, and make a fool of yourself. How do you guys really go about recruiting? That's kind of hard.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. The one thing that we always said is that this thing doesn't work if the baseball isn't incredible. I was fortunate enough to, we've played against the MLB PAA, which is the Players Alumni Association. So we're playing against former big league talent. And the one thing that they continued to say was that the baseball is so good. They weren't expecting us to be that great, and then we come out there and dust them. It's pretty cool, and it's exciting for us. But the baseball has to be good. And then when it comes to recruiting players, the big thing is that we're looking for someone that's called an our kind of guy. Tyler Gillum, our head coach, has talked about this from the beginning. We're not looking for the best baseball player in the world. We're not looking for just another dancer. We have to look for someone that is going to have both of those. And then also, the name of our company is Fans First Entertainment. So someone that is going to embody that fans first mentality and the ability to truly make any moment special for our fans and create an experience for our fans that is unlike any other. And so that comes with tryouts, that comes with rehearsals and trying new people in different spots and seeing the best way and the best people for our show.
Now, are most of these guys college baseball players, minor league players? What's the average background?
Yeah, so I would say a majority of them are former professional independent ball players.
Right.
A lot of our guys also came from our collegiate league. If you knew, before we started Banana Ball and before we started touring, we were part of the Coastal Plain League, which is very similar to the Cape, if you're familiar with college baseball.
Right.
So just a summer league. And then that grew, and then a couple of those guys continued on with us into their professional careers and stayed with us. But then we also have former major league talent. You know, we have Bill the Spaceman League, 76 years old, who's still towing the slab for us and throwing for us. So it comes from a wide range of baseball talent.
That might be the most perfect marriage in sports history, Spaceman Lee and the Savannah Bananas. So you're
Correct.
not in a league, and you're called the Savannah Bananas. So tell our viewers, where, like, do you play the majority of your games in Savannah? I know you're on this tour across the country that has been wildly successful. In fact, you're coming to Akron, and both games have been sold out forever, much to my dismay, because I wanted to go and see you. And maybe if I can't go and watch, I'll let you know that I'm a former independent league minor leaguer. I pitch. I still play. I'll get out there and throw the pill. I'll swing the bat. If you need an extra player for the Akron games, either one of them, I'm your dude. I'm your guy.
I'll make sure to get you in contact with our coaches. I wish if I could recruit players, we'd have a lot more social media influencers.
That's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I should tell you, too, when I played in the independent league, it was during my years at ESPN. And the St. Paul Saints, which were kind of they're maybe one of the forefathers to what you're doing, but I mean, they obviously were professional baseball players that were signed to contracts, but they made the show fun. I mean, that's what it was all about, going to a Saints game. And they found out that I was still pitching, so they signed me, and I actually pitched a couple of games for them, and then I pitched for a team in Long Beach in the California League, the Golden League, after that. But I think the level of baseball, at least from what I've been able to tell from these clips, these guys can ball. They're not, they're ball players.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this doesn't work if the baseball isn't good. It takes a real level of talent for someone to, make a routine play, let alone do it and make a backflip catch, or do a catch behind the back. Like, that's things that are happening. Like this catch right there that you're seeing right there is just a behind the back, and that's just like a normal thing for these guys, which is, they don't practice like every other team. We're not any other team. So why would we practice like every other team? So, when it comes to it, these guys are practicing their trick plays. We have a stat where it's trick plays per game. And then the trick play leader, Ryan Cox, is our shortstop. He's one of the most insane shortstops, and things that I've seen him do with a glove and a routine play is unbelievable. Between the legs, behind the back, it's unbelievable what some of these guys can do, and that comes with the level of talent that they have naturally moving into Banana Ball.
You're selling out games everywhere, aren't you?
Yeah, we are completely sold out for this season. We have a waiting list up of over 750,000 people for
Good
next
for you,
year's
man.
tour.
Good for you guys.
Yeah,
That's
we're very proud. We're really proud of what this is and what it's become, and
Zach, I got two questions for you real quick, kind of quick hitters.
Okay.
You guys have, former minor leaguers, former pro guys. If you could take one player currently playing in Major League Baseball to give him a tryout for the Bananas, who do you think in the majors would make a good banana?
I got two answers for you.
Okay.
Actually, I have three. So first off, Zach Greinke, just because I want to let him loose on his whatever he is. A former major leaguer, Brock Holt, I think he embodies what fans first is. And then there's one other, he pitches, Brandon Phillips.
Okay.
I think those guys embody what it means to be fans first, and they understand what it means to be a fans first player. And then they also are always having fun. Like, you never saw Brock Holt without a smile on his face when he was on the ball field. And I think that those guys would translate into banana ballers pretty well.
And secondly, I'm the ideas guy here for UCSS. My guys in the back, they tell me some are good. They tell me, hey, these are terrible. And we just never bring them to air. So I'm curious, as the ideas guy for the Bananas, what's an idea that never came to fruition that you might be able to share with us that just got kind of left on the scrap heap? Because some of the ones y'all pulled off are unbelievable. So I got to imagine some of the ones that didn't make it to that top level are pretty chaotic and crazy in a good way, too.
Yeah. I wish I get asked this question a lot, and it always changes because there's some ideas that are more fresh in my mind. But the idea of still having someone skydive in, like our starting lineup skydive into their positions is still on the top of my list.
I'll do that.
I haven't gotten
He's not lying.
I've gotten the green light from our entire team, and now I'm just waiting for the green light from everybody else. I'm like, guys, we're good to go. Let's do it. I have a company that wants
might
to do
have a
it.
problem
Like, we
with
are
that.
ready to do it. Yeah, they're not too thrilled. But
That is awesome.
I'm convinced that'll happen. Happen.
What's the biggest stadium that you filled? What's your biggest crowd, single crowd so far?
It'll actually be tonight. It was supposed to be last night, but it'll now be tonight here in Indy with 12,000.
Wow, that's incredible.
I believe we have 14,000 tickets out for tonight.
How many games have you played this year?
This is game 53 of 90.
Wow.
So you're playing 90 games.
You're probably outdrawing. You're definitely outdrawing the Oakland A's. Hell, I mean, you may be outdrawing the Guardians. I better not make fun of the A's.
No.
But look, Zach, you're clearly onto something. Thanks for, as a baseball purist, a guy who's played it my entire life and take the game very seriously. When I first heard of this, I thought, oh God, don't gimmick up the game. You have improved the game. You've made it fun. I love your umpires, by the way. Where do you get these dancing umpires from?
So it's the same one. I found him on Ellen, actually. It's really funny. I literally typed into Google dancing umpire, and then an Ellen clip came up, and I said, yeah, I got to find that guy. And then it took a quick Facebook search of his name, and he's pretty recognizable with his beard and being short and who he is. So he was pretty easy to find. We had a call with him. Jesse and I had a call with him, and it was a no-brainer fit.
Does he ump every
He's
game?
amazing.
Does he travel with you guys? Is
He
part
does.
Of the, okay.
Yep, he travels full time. He travels full time. And
No.
I want to actually get back to something that you said about being a baseball traditionalist and a purist.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm a traditionalist. I love the game of baseball. I grew up playing it. I played in college. It's a very big part of my life. But the one thing that I've learned with this whole process and being here is that they don't have to be the same thing, right?
Sure.
You don't have to have one or the other. You can have both. They can be coexisting. Banana ball and baseball it doesn't have to be one or the other, which is really unique. And I think people get hung up on like which one's better. Which one's better. It doesn't need to be which one's better.
No,
This is for a different crowd.
And the thing of it is, and this is what reminded me of it as I was seeing all these clips, I just remember thinking, I see clips on my feed all day long. And some of them are, Jose Ramirez slide into home plate, which is, a supremely athletic and gifted player making an unbelievable play in a crazy moment. And I can appreciate that. But I don't open that clip and laugh hysterically. When I open the banana clips, I'm still able to appreciate the baseball and the skill, but I'm laughing every time I open your clip. I also host a 5 o'clock show at NBC here in Cleveland, and I work you guys into that show all the time. I'm always seeing clips on social media, and now my producer is a fan. My executive producer is a fan. My executive producer somehow got tickets, so she's going to one of the games in Akron. My producer and I are like, how did you get tickets and we don't have tickets? But we're all fans now, and by the way, they're both women who aren't baseball fans, and that's the beauty of this. You're using baseball as the conduit, but you're bringing fans from outside of the traditional baseball circle into the sport, and no one can be upset about that.
Yeah. No, we pride ourselves on that alone. One of the best compliments I ever got was from a fan that just said, you guys had something for literally everybody. This was after a Savannah game, and we travel with the majority of our cast, but not all the time. But we had our Banana Splits, which is a dance group that is comprised from 8 to 11-year-olds, and then we had our Banana Nanas, who are a dance group from our that are 65 and up. So like from every age range, your little sister can come and have fun at the game, and they can find a character to latch onto. We have a Bananas Princess. We have our Bananas Pet Band. Like, there is something at our games for everybody, and that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten.
It's really a study in successful marketing. I think that's the true story here. Anthony, our producer today, has a question for you. Anthony, what do you got?
Hey, Zach, so enough about baseball. Let's get into the real nitty-gritty. You used to work for the Knights, and I'm a huge Golden Knights fan. What was your favorite moment? What was your favorite moment from working with them, and then how excited were you that they won this year?
Yeah, I was ecstatic when they won. It was a pretty cool moment, and they actually someone from the organization, I won't name names, but someone from the organization actually sent me one of the hats and shirts that they got on the ice that night, which was pretty cool just to know that it made a little bit of an impact. I would say my favorite moment. So the Vegas Golden Knights have the pregame show every night where the bad guy comes out and faces the Knight every single night. And I was actually the bad guy for the first 4 years of that organization, meaning that I got to be a part of the Stanley Cup Finals year one. And I was the bad guy in the Stanley Cup Finals, the guy that came down from the ceiling and got to face the Knight for that. And then all of the games leading up to that, the Western Conference where a guy went up to the ceiling. That was me. And so I would say, hanging there dangling lifeless on a cable in a Stanley Cup final game, hearing 18,000+ people boo you was probably one of my favorite moments of my time there.
That's pretty cool.
And that first year in general was I mean, it was a Disney movie basically, and we got to live it every day, which was pretty special.
Well, I love how the plan was. I think the plan was to make the Cup Finals in a couple of years, and then to win it in 6, maybe make the playoffs in 3 and win it in 6 or whatever.
Correct.
Whatever the plan was.
Playoffs in 3, Cup in 6.
And it ends up, finals in 1. Champions in 5. It's a model organization for how you should start a sports team in a city. Zach, thanks a lot. If you need a soft throwing righty that's got an array of pitches, I'll throw anything at any point in the count, and can still put the bat on the ball, you let me know. I'll be there in about 5 minutes notice. So I'm here.
You got a deal. I'll make sure to bring it up to our coaches.
Let them know, baby. Let them know. Tell them to Google my baseball reference page. Pretty damn impressive. It's pretty damn impressive. All right, thanks, Zach. Great,
Zach,
man.
we appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Talk soon, guys. Bye.
It is a major success story for marketing.
I'm pissed off I can't go now.
Yeah,
I'm genuinely upset that I can't go.
It's an event.
Yeah.
I mean, they sold out both nights in Akron.
Yeah.
And they've been sold out for months. We tried to get tickets 3 months ago, I'm saying. And I said, I told our executive producer, I said, let's do a group trip. A bunch of us from work will go, we'll get tickets. She says, yeah, it's a great idea. She went on the website. She's like, it's showing that both games are sold out. Is that possible? And I'm like, no, that's got to be a mistake. Mm-hmm. It's not a mistake.
I really want to go.
I want to see them play bigger venues. Yeah. So right now they're playing AA, AAA stadiums, which tend to be in the 12 to 15,000 range.
Yeah.
I want to see them play major league stadiums. I'm sure Major League Baseball won't let that happen. But there are venues that are bigger than 12 and 15,000 that could hold them. Hell, go out to where the College World Series is played.
Omaha,
play there.
Hey, man, you know what would be smart is if Major League Baseball, they got minor league teams. They should get a minor league team like this.
It's fun, man.
And then get it, and you could play it in the stadiums, and then do something in the 7th inning or something, and bring them out and do something really quickly. Because I think this is another wave of different ways you can spread the game.
Like 7th inning stretch,
and then you get deep.
Like the Cavs at halftime, they have a little show.
Yeah.
It'd be really hard because you only have 2 minutes.
You got 2 minutes. Well, I'm sure Major League Baseball could work with them. Can't y'all work with us a little bit? I mean,
they're crazy if they don't figure out a way to tap into it because it's wildly successful.
Because watch this. There's probably people that are a fan of that baseball that are not watching traditional baseball games.
Oh, no, a ton of their fans.
So
they're very popular with women, and a lot of their fan base don't consider themselves diehard baseball fans. But the other thing we didn't get to touch on in this interview but was talked about in the Real Sports piece, the games have a time limit. I believe it's 90 minutes or
I think it's 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours.
So it's at 2 hours, the game's over.
It's like soccer. It starts at 7 o'clock. It ends
and
at
how
9
many
o'clock.
innings can you play? And at 9 o'clock, who's on top? And then the game's decided. And I think that's good because obviously Major League Baseball has made a huge effort to cut the time of their games.
Yep.
You want to know that your entertainment block is going to be a defined period of time. You can't go like these extra inning games that go 4 hours. Yeah. It's not conducive to family entertainment. But
can we indulge some pain on ourselves real quick?
Sure.
We have to talk about the Guardians' loss last night.
Before we talk about that, though, let's make a happy moment. Let's give away some tickets.
Oh, sure.
Type in
you're
Guardians.
Go up to go down, Anthony. You're killing us.
Yeah, fourth person to type Guardians into the chat is going to get our second hour
Guardians.
giveaway for
All
4
right.
tickets for the USFL. I'll be looking at the chat, fourth person, and I'll message you guys, and then we can get in the Guardian.
Okay.
Can I start real quick?
It was tough, man.
They've had some bad losses this season.
They have.
I don't want to say this is the worst loss.
It was among them.
I think it, to me, might be the most painful. And I'm going to tell you this because of a couple of reasons. One, they had just taken over first place.
Yeah.
They were a game away from being 500. This elusive 500, which a team should never crave to be 500 this late in the season. But they are one game back. You got the best closer in baseball. Trevor Steffen's supposed to be an elite eighth inning setup guy.
Setup man.
You're playing the Kansas City freaking Royals.
And the thing you left out.
Jose Ramirez steals home.
That right there was
and
like.
we somehow, and I say we somehow, there is no. I don't really have words because one game doesn't really make a huge difference in the totality of a situation. The season, 162, it's one game. I get it. This one felt like a gut punch. It's the Royals. You were going in for the sweep. You were going in off a great Bieber start, 6 innings, 1 hit, 8 strikeouts, 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, whatever it was. Bieber was phenomenal.
I still don't know why he only threw 81 pitches.
Only threw 81 pitches. Could have gone another. And then Steffen and Clase, the two guys who you rely on the most in the bullpen, each individually screwed you over with a chance to go to 5. It just felt like a giant gut punch.
The Steffen thing, I was furious at him because with the score 2-1 and a runner at first, he's not even holding the runner. He doesn't even look at him.
Yeah.
And the runner gets a great jump and swipes second base. And then on a bloop, light hitting,
it's just
drop single to center.
All the little things added up. Yeah.
And at the time even before the base was stolen, I was watching with one of our digital producers upstairs. And I said, he's not paying attention to the runner. This guy's going to steal second and score the tying run. And it's out of negligence. On the very next pitch, he goes, he swipes the bag, base hit to center, game tied. That never should have happened. No. And then what really had me upset is I know it's still 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And the Royals get paid too. They're not a great team, but they've got players over there too. But what really drove me nuts was Jose Ramirez clearly, starting at second base, took the game into his own hands. He knew the situation. Chapman's throwing seeds. Guy still throws 102. He knew that they weren't going to be able to get a hit. So he's in position now at third base to score the winning run. They had a lefty up, because I had thought about, man, if anybody would do it, it would be Jose. But I didn't think he was going to do it because there was a left-handed hitter up. And the pitcher throws 102. So it might be one of the most improbable steals of home you'll ever see.
I'll give you that.
Because
100%.
The righty blocks the view of Perez. The catcher saw plainly out of his peripheral vision, here comes Jose. So he knew to come out and come to get him. And Ramirez had thought about that in advance and made a Jackie Robinson type slide.
And Sal was a veteran catcher.
And when you
one of the best.
So who makes that decision?
I think he might have discussed it with the third base coach. I doubt he would do it on his own. Some players have the green light. Imagine Jose is one of them because he's such a great runner. Aside from being, having decent speed, he's a better runner than he is fast. And he might be a guy that has the green light. So I didn't listen to the postgame because I was on the air from 5 to 6. I don't know if he had permission, but it was just a brilliant call. Whoever made it. And now also you have to take into account who's at the plate, the likelihood of them getting a hit.
Right.
And it wasn't good. So they just said, you know what? What the hell? Roll the dice. Take a shot. And you saw the slide. Can we show that play again? The slide was one of the best slides I've ever seen in my entire life, considering the situation. He's stealing home on a guy that throws 102 with a left-handed guy at the plate, and he immediately knew he never got touched.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, rewind that. Yeah, he didn't touch me. Yep. He was nowhere close.
Unbelievable angle right there, by the way.
And by the way, like the ball he's throwing 100 miles an hour. That ball was there in like a blink of an eye.
Without question.
So Jose Ramirez has to be at least 3/4 of the way.
Yes.
And he slid from East Lancaster, bro. He slid.
Well, he had a giant lead too. Just like Stefan wasn't holding the runner at first.
Right.
Chapman essentially forgot. I mean, look how far he is before.
He's a lefty too, so his back is to him. But give Jose credit. In previous pitches, he had picked up that, he's not even looking over.
Yeah, that wasn't a slight on Jose. I'm just saying he was able to get a giant jump. That's how he beats a 102-mile-an-hour fastball to the plate. I mean, look where he is.
And his move is not quick. He's
big leg
he's
kick.
always had this delayed hold with his kick leg where he brings it up and he almost pauses. You see a lot of Asian pitchers do that. Mm-hmm. He holds in that position, and I'm sure Ramirez was doing the math while he was on third for the first pitch, saying, I can do this. Yeah. I can get there. And
the fact they blew that's why
that's why I was so high.
It was just the
I went from being up here to down here.
And it was the culmination of little things. Not holding the base runner.
Yeah.
The softest of soft bloop hits.
Even the game-winning hit that scored the winning run.
Of Clase was.
It was just a little bloop down the left field line. And I'm not worried about Clase. I'm worried about Stefan. He's had some bad outings.
Yeah.
And, they paid him handsomely in the offseason. I still like the deal. But it seems like here in the last couple of weeks, he's hit a few rough patches. I want to say he walked one of the hitters, which you just can't do in a situation like that. He didn't. Oh, no, he hit a guy. He hit a batter. He recorded a very long out on a deep fly ball. He just didn't look great. You put it behind you. You've got very little time because they play an afternoon game today at Wrigley. So I know it wasn't a long trip. They were probably there by 5, 6 o'clock. Or no, the game didn't end until after 5. So they probably were in Chicago by 8 o'clock, got a good night's rest. Day game today, night game, I believe, tomorrow, and then a day game on Sunday. And then it gets really tough because you've got the absolutely white-hot Atlanta Braves for a series over the 4th of July holiday. And then they get Kansas City home. One good thing that I think sets up well for the Guardians as we look forward to the initial question, will they be in first place at the All-Star break? They will. They're still the best team in the division. The Twins are starting to regress. So I think they will be in first place solidly by a game or two at least by the All-Star break. And something to keep in mind, they hadn't played the Royals at all season until this series. They have 9 more games against the Royals, second worst team in baseball. So I think that really works into their favor. They got a lot with Detroit, a lot with Chicago to go. So I think they're going to win the division. They're not going to be maybe 85, 90 wins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still with you. We talked about it yesterday. I don't think it's a World Series roster. I don't think this is a deep playoff run in them. But they're the best team in the AL Central. And I was optimistic. Yeah. I brought up the numbers yesterday. So they had that big 14-run outing 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That was the 6th time this season they had scored 10 or more runs.
Right.
In the 5 games before yesterday.
We were talking about that.
Laid an egg.
They'd averaged 5 runs per game.
Oh, really?
Which is actually above their season average by a pretty big margin. It was 4.8 to be exact. But they come out the next day and just, to me, this was a chance to just grab onto something. A sweep, 500, first place in the division by yourself, and it just felt like a missed opportunity. Is this game going to come back to haunt them?
I mean, they're still
later?
in first place. They're tied with
They're
the
tied,
Twins.
but just this was a solidifying moment.
Yeah.
There could have been a solidifying moment.
Right.
Like I said, a sweep. A great pitching performance by Bieber. Even if it goes to extra innings, you have that play from Jose where if this team were to go on some sort of big run, we go back. Hey, what was the moment that changed the season? Jose's slide. It's something you could pinpoint, and it just slipped away. And that's why I was so frustrated yesterday afternoon watching this, because it was. I mean, Bieber was electric, and he only threw 80-something pitches. It felt weird they took him out early.
I'm wondering if they're not,
they're not trying to overtax
keeping the miles off of his tires because they're getting ready to move him. Was this the last time we're going to see Shane Bieber? I don't know. He's been checkerboarding his starts, a really good one, a not so good one, a really good one, a not so good one. And I'm wondering if the Guardians have seen that pattern and they're thinking, let's get him out of there while he's still got a great start, and let's move him before his next start. So I was theorizing that could have been his last start as a Guardian yesterday. I hope it wasn't.
That's so unceremoniously. Like, that's just kind of right. Like, you just don't know when you're done. Like, it's crazy.
Jay, I know we got Skip Holtz in 1 sec, but real quick, baseball related.
Yeah.
Do you know what Shohei Ohtani's done the last 30 days?
Oh,
well, I saw his game the other day. He had a pair of home runs and also struck out 10.
Let me ask you, and I don't know the answer. I put this on Twitter this morning. Is this the best month in the history of baseball?
Look, he is breaking every kind of standard.
Well, let me give you the numbers.
Because
at the plate in the last 30 days, this is all of May 31st to
June.
Today, so all of June. He's batting 400, 16 home runs, 32 RBIs.
He hit 16 home runs in a month?
This month has a 1.473 OPS.
So, yeah, it clearly is.
And then pitching-wise, he has a 2-2 record, a 3.26 ERA. He had one bad start against Houston.
If you take that
totally
out, his
inflated.
numbers were ridiculous.
37 strikeouts in 30 innings.
That's
he's
that has to be the best month in the history of baseball, right?
I said this after the last out of the World Baseball Classic, where he struck out his Angels teammate Mike Trout to win the championship. I said at the time, and I didn't want it to sound like it was hyperbolic or prisoner of the moment, but I came in the next day and I said, he is the greatest baseball player ever.
Yeah.
I stand by that. What he's doing is proving it, because he is an all-star pitcher and he's an all-star hitter, all wrapped into one. He's going to break the bank with this new contract. It's going to be the biggest contract in professional team sports history in America. Soccer, obviously, there's bigger deals in Europe. But he's going to break the bank. It's going to be massive.
And you know why? I'm excited about it is because it now forces people to understand and to have a different way of thinking about baseball. Nowadays, kids coming up that may want to switch hit, kids coming up that want to pitch and want to continue to bat that are pretty good. I'm seeing more even in College World Series. The new kid from Florida, right? They're saying he's a guy that can hit the baseball.
Your pitchers in high school are usually the best
hitters
on the team, too.
They're your center fielders, they're your shortstops, and the pitchers.
Yep, that's
like they steal the most bases, hit the most home runs. Now maybe if we can get guys that are interested in batting, you can get people that can be like a Shohei, right? Ohtani, because you're now putting it back in that it is possible after so many years of people saying, no, you're either going to pitch or you're going to hit.
And sadly, he plays on the West Coast, so the East Coast doesn't get to see him all the time. And whether you like it or not, he's not English speaking. He's not someone that can be a marketing superstar. Imagine if this was Frankie Lindor.
Yeah.
And Frankie could pitch like that and could hit 16 home runs in a month. Yeah. That extrapolates out to 80 home runs for the year.
I don't think the Guardians hit 16 home runs. I didn't look that up.
Probably not.
They hit 16.
Probably not.
Anthony, we got to read.
Enough on the Guardians.
Before we get into our Skip Holtz interview here, I want to remind everybody that it's the 12 o'clock lunch hour of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And if you want to see all your favorite golf legends play in the Colleague Companies Championship July 12th through July 16th at the famous Firestone Country Club, fun, family-friendly events all week long featuring a new fan zone experience, free attendance for kids, and concerts every single night. There's something for everyone. You can learn more at colleaguegolf.com. Without further ado, the coach of USFL's Birmingham team, Skip Holtz.
Not just the coach, but the coach of the defending champions and the coach of one of the two teams that is going for the USFL title again this year. Skip, welcome back to the program. We had a lot of fun with you when you joined us in studio last year. It was a great deal of fun. Here you are again, trying to make it 2 for 2. You're ruining it for all these other coaches.
Well, the only disappointment I have is we don't get to do this live. That was maybe the best part of my week, was having the opportunity to come in there in studio and hang out with you guys. And I told you then, I said, I want an application on how you get on this. This is what you guys do on a day-to-day basis. I absolutely love it. But you're talking about the Guardians, and I'm still in the boat of, I don't know the Guardians, but I love the Indians. But
I know. There are many with you here within the Cleveland and Northeast Ohio area. I still find myself sometimes calling them the Indians, and I talk about them on TV and here on the show every day. How do you like your chances, Skip? for 2 in a row.
We got to go play the game. I mean, it's still a football game, and you get what you earn. That's what we always talk about. And when we were fortunate enough to win it all last year, to go 9-1, we came back this year and talked about how hard it is to repeat. And we weren't trying to defend anything. We were trying to earn something. This is a new football team. There's about 60% of the faces are new on this team. And that's what kind of the motto that we've had all year. We're going to get what we earn. We got to go out and find a way to go 1-0. This is one more week. We're 9-2 right now. I think this football team has really put together a good season right now, but this will certainly be the cherry that caps it off, as everybody remembers who the champion is, but nobody, regardless of records, remembers who the runner-up is. What we got to do is find a way to go win one football game, and ought to be a great environment. Pittsburgh is playing really well right now. I think they're doing some really good things. They have the number one defense in our league, and as everybody knows, and the cliche and the saying goes, offense wins games, defense wins championships, and we know we're going to face a really good defensive football team tomorrow night.
Coach Holtz, I was talking with the panel earlier, and I said, one of the things the USFL and any league, wants is guys that can make it to the next level and guys that you can promote to go to the next level because it helps the league grow. If there's one or two guys on your team right now that you would say, if you had to make a pitch for that deserve to be at the next level or deserve to have a shot, could you shed some light on those players and what they bring to the table and why you feel like they can play at the next level?
Well, I'm going to start with our quarterback, Alex Magoo, and what he's done. He was drafted. He was in the NFL for a couple years, and then ended up back here in the USFL. He's had a phenomenal year statistically with numbers. He scored 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's putting up gaudy numbers. He's got both. He's got a really good arm. He's seeing the field really well, throwing the ball really accurately, but he's making things happen with his feet as well. I think he's certainly a guy that can find himself in a camp. I think Jay Sternberger, who was with Green Bay for a while and then in this league, is a guy that's having a really productive year. Again, scored, I think he's got 7 receiving touchdowns as a tight end, doing a really nice job. Davion Davis. I mean, last year we had 12 guys off our roster make it into an NFL camp. And I would think that it's going to be very similar this year. We've got a really talented roster, but I think those 3 on offense for sure. I like Dante Tillman on the defensive side of the ball is having a really productive year. I think some guys are playing really well for us. And so it's going to be interesting to see, but I certainly think a handful of them are going to have the opportunity to continue playing, Garrett.
Coach, I knew you had Jay Sternberg. I didn't realize you had Davion Davis, too. I covered both those guys back in college, Sternberg at A&M and Davion at Sam Houston State. So I'm not going to lie, my allegiance was with Boogie Roberts, who's a weekly guest on the show here. But now that you got 2 of my guys, too, I kind of have a split allegiance here, Coach.
Mike, I could be on this every week as well. Again, I mean, there's nothing, believe me, I did not turn you down. I want to go on record as saying that. I did not turn you down to be a weekly guest. No, both Davion Davis and, Davion's had a phenomenal year, had a great week last week, had a couple touchdown type of day. He's been a 100-yard receiver a game almost, really doing some good things for us, playing well. But him and Jace, I think, are both very, very talented players, and we're fortunate to have them.
Skip, as you know, I'm just a huge, huge fan of your father. I'm blessed to be able to say that we were coworkers for so many years at ESPN. Yep. One of my favorite things about Pops, and I loved everything about him, was how they could be getting ready to play Akron in week 2 of the season. And your dad would come to the podium in South Bend and he'd say, hey, now listen, Akron, they've got the number 1 punt returner in all of college football. and you sleep on Akron and they're going to get you. I can only imagine what you're telling your team, because when you look at Vegas and you look at the line, you guys are huge favorites. How are you working some of your dad's magic? I hope you like what I did there.
Yes, I did. I got that.
Because your dad is a great magician. What are you telling your team to make sure that they're not reading the clippings and they're not looking at the line and they're not hearing everybody say that they're going to win this game easily?
Well, I think it's it's like everybody wants to look at the numbers. We're 9-2 right now, and they're 5-6. But it's easy to pull out what just happened in the XFL when you have the 4-6 team, and everybody said they can't win it. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs. 3 teams from the other division should have been in it, and then they run the table and win the championship. You look at the first time that we played Pittsburgh, we won the game 24-20, but offensively we had scored a touchdown really with no time on the clock right before half to make it 10-9. This was a game we had returned a touchdown for a kickoff for a touchdown, and we ended up winning 24-20. So I don't think it's going to take much. I mean, when you look at where they are statistically, you look at them defensively, and they've got all the numbers. I mean, they are number 1 or number 2 in every statistical category when you look at them defensively. I don't think this has been a hard one to sell. Turn off the noise. We call it the circus and the noise going on the outside. Let's just make sure we stay focused and put our best foot forward. But we've got plenty to sell with how good this football team is and the kind of the two-headed monster they have at quarterback. He can run, he can throw, and they've won 3 in a row. So there's an awful lot riding on this game, and anything can happen. We just got to make sure we show up and put our best foot forward.
Number 1 offense versus number 1 defense. They back in the day they said defense wins championships. Now they say you got to throw the ball around a little bit. When you look at what they're able to do on the other side of the football as far as defense goes, what are some things that you guys going into this game really need to do in order to make sure that you guys can win this game?
We've got to execute. I mean, one of the things this year, we've been a really balanced football team with the run and the pass. And I think we have to have balance, and we're going to have to be able to execute. We're going to have to be throwing and catching at a really high level with what we do. Like I said, this was a very tight football game the last time we played it. They do not. They're really fundamentally sound. What they do is, I'm going to say it not in a negative way, but it's not sexy, but it is full of substance. I mean, they do what they do. They're very, I don't want to call them simple. You know where they're going to be. But just even though the lines all draw up in your favor, when the smoke clears, it's 2nd and 8. It's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9. They do a really good job. They have great football players. You talked about Boogie and the job that he does, and they've got great football players. They're physical. Their linebackers are active as they can be, probably the 2 of the most active linebackers that we're going to see. But like I said, it's got all the makings to be a great game, regardless of what the odds say. Because of the records, I think it's got all the makings to be a great game. And the first one, if this game is anything like the first one, we're going to be in for a real treat for the championship game.
We've been doing our part, Coach. We've given out 40 tickets over the last week to the championship game. As a show, we actually went down to one of the games in Canton a few weeks ago, and that venue's phenomenal, and the atmosphere and the crowd experience, the fan experience was top-notch. What are you expecting the crowd, the atmosphere, the ambiance to be like on Saturday night for the USFL championship game?
Well, we're trying to kind of reverse this with Pittsburgh being kind of the home team here. We're trying to reverse this a little bit. Last week we had the opportunity to play in Birmingham, and the crowd was awesome. I mean, they were a difference maker. They were loud. They were into it. It's championship football. This is for all the marbles. I look at it when I say just opposite. I think Pittsburgh's going to have the home crowd. I know we're going to have some people that are going to travel, and we have a following that'll be here. But I would certainly think that the numbers are going to be in Pittsburgh's favor. And so we know that we're going to have a crowd behind us. A crowd against us a little bit. And so we just got to go play the game. I think it ought to be a great venue. Obviously, the facility is unbelievable. And to anybody that hadn't been to the Hall of Fame, to turn it into a 2-for-1 where you could go to the hall, spend a little bit of time there during the day, and then come to the game that night, I think it's got a great making. I know they got a concert in line for it. Nice. The weather, as long as a little bit of this rain holds out, I think it's going to be a great weather. I mean, we've been down at home there in a 105-degree heat index, and we come up here and it's like going to be 83. I mean, it's perfect. It's going to be a high of 80. I mean, it has been absolutely perfect weather. So I think for anybody that loves football, this has got a chance to be a historic game with everything riding on it. 8 teams started the season. There's 2 left fighting for this final championship game. And so I think it's got the makings to be a great contest, a great game, a great environment, a great atmosphere, a great facility right here at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
Coach, when you look at where the league is now 2 seasons in, give us your status report on how the league is doing, how Birmingham is doing, because I have seen some of those crowds in Birmingham. It's been very impressive, and I know they usually say if you can make it through that first couple of years, you've got a nice runway to success. What's your assessment of the league's grade card at year 2?
I think they're doing a great job. I think when you start all this and say, will they make it, you have to say, is there a need for it? If there's not a need for it and it's just a gimmick, it's going to be a one and done, two and done type deal. But right now, when you look at the number of players, there's 400 players on these rosters in this league that are all vying to get in the NFL. And you look at many of them have already been in the NFL and then are back in this league gaining a little bit of experience. And as I said, last year we had 12 guys get there. I think there's a need for it. I think it's very obvious through 2 years of the USFL that people are going to support it. When you look at the ratings and what's going on right now, it's been off the charts. But I think it all starts because of Fox's commitment. Fox got into this not to say let's be a one and done. They said, let's make a product here. And I think they've had a phenomenal plan in putting it together, making one place the hub for year 1, branching out to 4. Next year, maybe there's going to be 6. They've already started selling season tickets for year 3. I think they're kind of past the point right now of asking the question, is there going to be a year 3? And now it's just rolling over and we're going. Nice. I think right now Fox and everybody involved in this couldn't be more excited about the reception, the way the fan bases have supported. And I think they're excited to get everybody in their own hubs. And I'm excited that I have the opportunity to be part of it, because I think it's going to be one of these things 20 years ago. We're going to say, Callie, what did people do if they didn't make it to the NFL before we had the USFL? Yeah, what did people do? How did quarterbacks go gain experience? How did left tackles go gain experience? Because really, when you came out of college, you've got 120 Division I football teams, and you've got all those guys that are graduating and coming out. And there's only 32 NFL teams, and the NFL doesn't have graduation. You've got to take a spot. They don't lose guys every year to graduation. So there's a lot of guys that are out there coming out of college each and every year. And I alluded earlier to the number of new faces on our roster. It just goes to show you the talent that is still out there that's looking to have the opportunity to continue to play this game, whether they want an opportunity in the NFL or whether they just want an opportunity to play the game because they love it. But that's one of the things that I've loved about this league is just the passion and the energy of the players that are in it.
When you talk about going to your own hub, are they moving towards next year, you guys playing out of your own stadiums, out of your own facilities, practicing? I know you guys practice here currently, but are they moving to a model where now you get your own community involved into the USFL as well?
Yeah, I really think they are, Garrett. When you look at some of the growth that they're looking every year, I think it's kind of a feasibility model. What makes sense in all our hubs with what we're doing? And, they're even talking about trying to start to build permanent structures for each team in their own hub. Most of us have been operating out of a hotel or makeshift facilities to make it work. Now, we practiced at Legion Field. We played at Protective Stadium. And I think everybody's trying to get home bases, but that's one of the things that you just alluded to, that they're looking to make permanent structures in each and every one of these cities where the hub teams are, that have meeting rooms, that have a practice facility, that have a weight room, a training room, places that players could go to the office every single day rather than going to the hotel and something that's just been made possible, but having kind of year-round permanent structure would be awesome. I think that's all part of the next step. And that's why I said Fox is doing such a great job, because they're just looking at adding little pieces as it continues to grow to make it better and better each year. As we went from everybody in one hub to 4 hubs this year, I think it'll go to 6, and then probably everybody in their own hub with permanent facilities. So it's been exciting to be a part of it.
Very good. Coach, listen, best of luck to you. I know it's going to be a great game. I love when number one offense and number one defense get together, it's always, which is going to come out on top, and I think that's one of these classic examples of that. Good luck in your effort to make it 2 in a row, and thanks again for coming on. And you do have an open invitation. It doesn't have to be in season.
I will. I just don't want to hear somebody. We're going to be loyal to somebody else because they were here every week. I mean, I just don't want to hear that comment
I just want
anymore.
a good game and everyone to have fun, Coach. All right.
Yeah, I'm with you. Now, I'm hoping the number one offense wins because they're on our side. So I hope they take the deal. But I will tell you, and I had this. My father will be here at the game, so Jay, he's coming
wonderful.
up. Yep,
wonderful.
So he's going to have an opportunity to come up and be here for the game, which I'm really excited about. But like he told me one time, he said, "Skip, that's the difference between you and me." He said, "I don't think you ever have to throw a pass to win a game." And I said, I thought about it for a minute, and I said, you're right, Dad. That's a difference between you and me, because I think you got to throw the ball to win a game, and he still comes from that Woody Hayes school of thought.
3 yards in a cloud of dust.
State with 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But guys, it's always a pleasure. One of my favorite things I did last year, staying up in Cleveland while we were here for the week, was spending the time with you. Always a pleasure. Enjoy it. Good luck to y'all.
Skip,
Good luck,
feelings
Coach.
mutual. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it.
Great interview, great coach. He's had success wherever he's coached, just like his dad. And he's a knowledgeable football guy. One of the things that I take from that interview, which is fascinating to me, you would think that, well, they won it last year, they'd be the overwhelming favorite to win it again this year. He said 60% of his faces are new.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing, too, because that means guys are getting opportunities at the next level, and then I don't think they retain rights to – I'm not positive, but I think if they go try out for the NFL, they have to get back into the
I'm not
pool.
sure how that
I don't know
works,
how that
but
works.
it's impressive that he's basically back to where he was last year. I think they're 9-2.
I think they're 9-1.
9-1. They're back to where they were last year, and there's more new faces than returning faces. That's a testament to Skip and to his coaching staff. They've done a great job, and I tell you, I've watched a number of games. I know you guys got to go to one in person. I'm playing baseball every Saturday. I don't get to see a lot of games, but I have caught a number of games, and there have been moments where I'm looking at it saying, yeah, this is really high-quality football. I think the American public is going to be okay with this, filling those football NFL-less months with a product that is watchable.
No, definitely. I think it's it's just about tapping into the right energy and getting people energized and having a good product. But first and foremost, that's what everybody wants to see.
Right.
What type of product do you have? What type of individuals do you have? And like he said, he mentioned his quarterback. Quarterback play is going to be huge for them and the XFL because that's what we come to see. And if you watch a game with horrible quarterback play, it's like watching paint dry.
Yeah. It's like watching a bad pitcher in a baseball game.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, great. We have 5 minutes left. You want to do a top five? You want to do final takes? What do you want to do?
I don't know. Do you guys have any final takes? I do have a top five.
Let's
ready
do top
for us.
five. Yeah, you're
Top
pretty
five?
top five. Yeah.
All right,
ready.
so real quick, this is the top 5 things I would rather talk about other than the Browns in the middle of summer. Because, as most of you know, it's hard to come up with Browns topics every single day in the middle of June.
Tell me about it.
And it's probably my least favorite part of this job so far.
I concur.
So we'll start with number 5, the weather. Well, what's going on, guys? You want to talk about the weather? Kind of hazy.
I'd rather talk about the weather right now than just like non-entity, non-story Browns topics that we're just trying to, pull out of thin air.
I don't even go. Listen, when you got breathing problems, you got asthma, you just be going right to the house. You don't even be talking. You don't even see nobody with breathing problems. You just be like, yeah, I'm in the house.
Yeah, you can pretty
I
much
haven't
can't
even
go
had
out
my
there.
windows down this summer in my car. It's been so sad. Number 4,
Yeah, the weather's depressing. I don't like that.
summer music festivals. There's a bunch of them going on. I'd rather be there, talk about them, going to see them. I'll see you at training
You're a
camp.
big music guy. You like to see live music.
I have been. So my first concert was when I was 11. My parents took me to see Meatloaf on my 11th birthday.
Jeez, what a
Since
first concert.
then, I have seen easily over 100 shows.
Yeah, you're
Anthony's always
big
going to
consumer
shows.
music.
Always
I'm a
going to
big
shows.
concert junkie.
Yeah, I've gone to a lot of them, but I'd much rather go to a game than a concert.
I'd be trying it was like G. Bush. Would you your favorite artist in the world? Would you go up there and would you watch them live? And I'd be like, listen, first of all, it's just like football, dude. It's
better at home.
It's better at the crib.
Yeah.
The surround sound a lot better.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, you sound a lot better.
Don't have to wait to go to the
So
bathroom.
we got 3 minutes. We'll do these last ones real fast. They required a little bit more explaining. But right now, there's a court case going on versus Xbox and PlayStation. And if you grew up during the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 days, the console
What's
wars
the
are
court
back,
date?
and it is hysterical.
What
to
is it
watch.
about?
Yeah, what are they
The
going on for?
Xbox CEO is airing out all the dirty laundry between the two companies. He's providing emails about their business practices to the courts, and all of it's on Twitter.
But who's
It
who's
is
suing?
getting catty.
Who's suing who though?
So no one's suing anybody. Xbox is trying to buy Activision, who was one of the Call of Duty publishers up until now. Sony is not having it, and so they are just having a cat fight in courts right now with the FTC trying to approve that sale or not.
Wow, fascinating.
It is hysterical.
Things that are
to
going
watch.
on in the world that I did not know existed.
Had no idea that was even a thing.
All right, so number 2, you guys see Columbus is getting the MLS All-Star game, and this is probably your best chance to see Messi in Ohio when it comes in 2024.
I did see that.
I'm so excited.
That's pretty big news. Columbus is one of the, I'm not going to say the best city, but they've had a nice following from. I was at the franchise's very first game.
They talked
in the mid-90s.
They said the iconic Columbus Crew Stadium. I'm like,
they have
I didn't know
sold
it was
out 8 games
winning
straight this season.
Wow.
Good for them.
Are they winning?
I don't know the record off the top of my hand. I know they've won 3 straight.
Okay.
Good for the Haslam's.
Yeah, Jimmy
Money in the
Haslam.
bank.
Yeah, it's
Good for
money
you,
in the
Jimmy.
Haslam's pocket. And then number 1, I don't know if you guys have heard about this on Twitter. Barbie and Oppenheimer are coming out the same weekend, and there's a big rivalry going on.
Oh my God!
It is so funny. And my friends and I are planning. We're gonna go see Oppenheimer in the morning that weekend, and then we're gonna go get lunch and see Barbie in the afternoon.
You're gonna see Barbie?
I'm gonna see it. I gotta do it, and I
Yeah.
will report back with how good and or bad it is.
Well, it's a good thing Anthony's not the lead producer of this show, or you guys would really not watch this summer. So
Absolutely.
Hey, shout out
not.
to Oppenheimer. I'll see
Oppenheimer sounds good though.
Yeah, I think it is going to be great. Barbie, I won't look at.
Yeah, I probably won't get Barbie
A fun
either,
fact
but I'm
about
excited for
Barbie, and I
Oppenheimer.
only know this because we had it on our Channel 3 show. That the set is all obnoxiously pink, like
Yeah.
a
Giant mansion.
fluorescent pink.
Yeah.
And the company bought the production company bought all of the fluorescent pink that was made, and now there's a shortage of that paint because they bought it all up. Why anybody would want to paint anything fluorescent pink?
Crazy.
I don't know, but they painted everything fluorescent pink on the sets of that movie. All right, we're out of time. Have a great weekend.
Yep.
It's a super Friday. It's a super holiday weekend.
We are
4
here
days,
Monday.
You'll be here Monday.
We are here Monday.
You'll be here Monday.
Yes.
Viewer
I will be on
questions.
a boat
Viewer questions.
celebrating my birthday.
Yeah, your birthday's the
the next
4th.
day.
Is on Tuesday.